I guess I can post on twitter.com. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong link. Flashbang. Okay, alright. So, yesterday, I, with my friend Divon Dom, went through Nanolist's document, Bao's document, Silverveil's, and what else is there? Spite's document, I think. We've come to a conclusion. Sinder and Redacted look like the bad guys in the room. They look like the worst people in the room of that room. So, I'm giving Sinder a chance here. I'm giving Sinder a Red a chance here. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to read through this 1,000-page document, and we're going to operate like she's telling the truth. We'll see what happens. I got some ice cream here. Hopefully that's enough to keep me running. Let's do it. Hi everyone. It's been over 5 months since everything happened. I've never been good with words, and I'm especially bad at verbalizing my feelings. I've always hid my insecurities, and it's hard for me to open up about things, even to the people closest to me. It was nearly 2 a.m. on April 26 when Nanolist and Bao posted the document together. After I had finished streaming earlier that night, I was awake for almost 48 hours by the time I posted my apology. Looking back at it, no, it wasn't good. At least we agree here. Your apology was not good. I was not in the sound state of mind when it was written. Understandable. I was blindsided by any of this coming out and the accusations made against me. No one involved tried contacting me privately beforehand. Okay. There's an issue here. While yes, the best thing for people to contact you privately is the right thing to do, at least in most situations, it's understandable no one did this, because everyone is assuming that you're a liar. And that's the issue. Everyone assumes that you're a liar. That's why no one contacted you. Not just a liar, but also manipulative and, quite frankly, a bitch. Like that's putting it mildly. But no one trusts you. That's why they don't come to you. That's why they didn't come to you privately. That's an issue. Maybe if you reach out to them first, if you tried to reach out to them first, but you couldn't, that's an entirely different onus. But them not coming, at this point, it's your job to go to them, not for them to come to you. And that's my opinion. I was unable to eat, unable to sleep, or do anything else but watch more documents and statements be released while everything fell apart. I didn't have Red, I didn't have my friends, but I had the weight of the entire internet waiting to see what I was going to say and how I was going to say it wrong. Well, you did say it wrong, so... I didn't have access to search for all the evidence to defend myself with the growing list of allegations, and I didn't have time to put it all together cohesively anyways. I was petrified. How could I possibly respond correctly to a coordinated effort like this in the state I was in without just blindly accepting fault for all the things I didn't do or never knew happened? I rushed to get something out, defend myself the best I could in the heat of the moment, and post it just so I could rest. No matter what I would end up saying, it never would have been good enough. I can think of some things that would have been better, but I also probably would need more context. So that's a thing. Hang on, can I put on some tunes for myself so I'm not like going crazy from the silence? Let's see. You're not gonna hear my music. It's just gonna be from me so I don't go nuts from the silence. Alright, that's a little bit better. It took me a long time to mentally recover and have the ability to face any of this again. I couldn't look at anything Sinder related without breaking down. All of my fans that looked up to me were led to believe I was evil and encouraged to destroy or donate my merch. Almost everyone I knew or cared about turned on me in an instant, and anyone who's ever had anything to say about me did. I had only one of my close friends message me after everything was out there. I received rape, dox, and death threats over these accusations, so I stepped away from the internet. I reconnected with Red and we worked things out between ourselves. When we were ready to both do so, he helped me with the long process of making this document. I didn't say almost anything else to anyone sooner, privately or publicly, because no one would believe me until I had absolutely everything put together to post all at once in one place. I don't think this is true. I think you believed it. Okay, so I think Sinder believed this, that she didn't have anyone else. But I don't think this is necessarily true. There are ways you can approach things, and even people that you've slighted, you could probably still talk to. Whoop. Ah, dang it. How'd that happen? Oh, it's okay. It's no big deal. Sorry, I just took my phone over. And get some more ice cream. Okay. Alright. The purpose of this document: to present the full story and the facts and evidence around what happened with complete transparency, defend myself against what's been said about me, and provide mine and Red's perspectives and motivations about each situation. It wasn't my choice to make this public, but since it is, my side of the story matters too. I agree. To take accountability for everything that each of us are guilty of in the past couple of years, whether they were revealed in the original documents or not. This document will not absolve either of us of all wrongdoing and isn't trying to. If this is the case, you don't need 1,000 pages. I'm just going to say this right now. You don't need 1,000 pages to do this. Dispel rumors, misconceptions, and theories about me. Show how and why things are actually occurred, and point out and refute discrepancies and lies and claims or statements made against me. We've done things wrong, but the amount and degree of them has been incredibly exaggerated or completely made up. I agree they're exaggerated, but completely made up, I'm not sure about. This document contains speculation. This is bad. Why do you have this? Why do you have any speculation, period? Because when you're putting your own schizo theories inside a document that's supposed to exonerate you, you just look like a schizo, and people can use this to attack you, by making it look like you're misinterpreting words, because they go, well, you have schizo theories in your own document. How can we take your word because you're a schizo? Baseless accusations were made against me without evidence, so I've kept speculation labeled as such in this document. Most of it is supported by circumstantial evidence, but it should not be treated as solid fact. You still shouldn't have it. It doesn't matter if you say it's speculation. It doesn't matter if you're saying, oh, well, it's circumstantial evidence. This is bad. Do not put speculation, do not put your schizo theories in a document that's supposed to exonerate you, because you look bad. This document is not to fuel harassment or spread hate towards anyone involved. I am doing what's listed above and posting this document in the same public setting in the original documents were. If you have harassed anyone involved in my defense, you are not my supporter. Your actions are reprehensible. I have never advocated for anyone to do this for any reason. I'm sorry to anyone who's been affected by any actions of real community members against my principles. I understand why you do this, but you don't have to. Again, psychos supporting you are not your responsibility. And I want to say this right now, anyone who was being crazy in regards to this, it's their fault. If you didn't tell them directly, if there's nothing tying you to them, if there's no call to action from you, it's completely their fault. You don't have to apologize for them because you're not responsible for them. But I understand why you did this, and even though you didn't need to, it's good that you did this. Also, hi Shiva. Go back to your stream. Okay. God, dang it. I have been made out to be a two-faced, greedy, jealous, psychopathic narcissist who maliciously used, stalked, sabotaged, and betrayed those closest to me and anyone around me for my own gain for years, manipulating my way to the top like some kind of evil mastermind. You were lied to. There are things I've done wrong, but this image could not be further from reality. This was complete public assassination of my character over what were lies and assumptions, followed by my cancellation and disappearance, with my accusers profiting from it. I don't like this section. It's really bad. It's really bad because you're already coloring with your schizo theories. Because you can look at it from this way. Who profited from this? How did they profit from it? Define profit. Because most people, when they see this word profit, they think monetary. What did Shy Lily gain from this? What did Nanolis gain from this? What did Bao gain from this? What kind of money, what kind of financial gain did they get from this? What kind of monetary gain did they get from this? By putting this here, you're already accusing them of being greedy themselves. Now, if that's not what you meant, well, unfortunately, but that's what the words say. This is the first impression I got. I'm a layman. I'm not really on either side. I pointed out what my opinions were based off the other ones. I think Cinder and Red looked like the worst people in the room when I read through those last documents. When you put this here, you're accusing them of being greedy. So, why'd you do this? This is bad. Don't do that. If I was really the awful person I was made out to be, then this document wouldn't exist. That's not true. Bad people will defend their actions all the time. I'm not saying that you're a bad person, but just because you were that, if you're going to make the argument that if you were a bad person, you wouldn't have written this. I can see bad people writing away things to defend themselves all the time. You see it all the time. I wouldn't have any way to refute the claims made against me. I could have just continued streaming and profited from the drama and the over 30 million views the situation garnered. I could have let everyone forget about this and come back like nothing ever happened, but it's not true, and I couldn't allow myself to move on without making things right. Everything that's come out and stories that followed have been blown way out of proportion and turned into crazy conspiracy theories. Both Red and I have done wrong, and all of that will be addressed here. This is good. But the story everyone was told is not the reality of what happened. Every single person I've interacted with in the past almost 5 years, even those closest to me, and every single interaction with them would have been fake, or for the story. Sorry. Every single person I've interacted with in the past almost 5 years, even those closest to me, and every single interaction with them would have been fake for the story told about me to be true. I don't know about this one. This sounds I don't know how to word it, so I'm not gonna say it. I believe there are two people responsible for how things played out, with a third person merely having an axe to grind against someone they never liked. Nanolist lied overwhelmingly about what happened between her and Red, sat back and played everyone, including my friends. Shy Lily lied about me from the start, orchestrated things from behind the scenes, and manipulated the public to their side. Silverveil took the opportunity to lie about our interactions together, making things even worse for me. They had the most to gain from my cancellation, including their own satisfaction. None of them could take accountability for their own actions and pushed it all onto me instead. Okay. This is a bad paragraph, because you've already colored it right here. You're accusing these three people of being greedy and trying to axe you for profit. Now, again, I don't know what you mean by profit, but most people, when they hear profit, they think monetary gain. I don't think these three people have monetary. Well, okay, let me take that back. I don't think Nanolist or Silverveil have monetary gain from cutting you out. Shy Lily, maybe. I've seen the schizo theory, but it's a bad schizo theory, because the schizo theory is Sinder gets kicked out of gamer subs. Shy Lily picks up the pieces, picks up the stock. However, there's a problem with that. The stock would go to J Schlatt, or J Schlatt is the biggest shareholder, I believe. He would be the one who buys it. I highly doubt Shy Lily would buy it directly, or would be able to buy it directly. Maybe they give it to her, but at that point you have too many hands in the pot to figure out who it is. So I don't like this. This comes off as a schizo theory, and we're not even on what page is this? This is page 3. I already see schizoid right now, so this is bad. This is bad. You are accusing them of being greedy for monetary gain. You have no evidence so far. Maybe we'll get evidence later, but I'm already feeling some form of manipulation. I'm sorry. Aside from the labeled speculation, everything presented in this document is true to the best of mine and Red's knowledge. Okay, I will treat it all as true then. I have nothing to hide, and there isn't a reason to hide anything anymore. The bulk of what's shown here was over the past 2+ years. Keep in mind that no matter who you are, opinions, thoughts, and feelings can change a lot over such a long period of time. True. I went back and forth on a lot of things to put in here, asking myself if I should leave them out for the people I still care for, or to keep them in for my own sake. No matter what evidence is included in this document, it wouldn't be surprising if it's claimed that even with all of the evidence, all of this is just me trying to lie, manipulate, and gaslight my way out of what happened, and that no one should possibly believe me again. Okay. Based off of all the documents that I've seen, I don't think Cinder's a liar. I actually don't. I think she's manipulative. And we've seen it when Sinder was presented a screenshot of what Redacted said. And instead of talking to Redacted or getting more information about this, she just said, "Oh, I understand." Now, of course, there is a lot more to go through, but unfortunately that's my impression right now. So we'll see what happens. To show that I stand by everything written here and that I'm sorry for the things I've done wrong, I made a very hard decision. I'm giving up my part ownership position of GamerSubs. I've worked so hard for them since December of 2022, and earning this position is one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. I'm honored they chose to give me the opportunity, and I've been immensely proud to have this title. As sad as I am to do this, I feel the need to protect the company I love. I think GamerSubs could have weathered the storm, actually. Maybe. I don't think it'd be that crazy, but then again, I'm not sure how much Sinder was a big part of GamerSubs, so I feel the need to protect the company I love, the people that work there, and everyone associated over my own interests. GamerSubs suffered a lot of damage when all of the accusations were made about me, and that fell on my shoulders. I need to look more into this, but I'll take her word for this. This is my responsibility as part owner, and I don't want any more harm or negativity to come to them by having this position. I didn't have to do this, and I wasn't asked, forced, or cursed into making this decision. There are things more important to me than business. I notified them of my decision in June, and that would take effect at the same time this document is published. Okay, alright. Each tab in this document is about the people and events related to the claims made against me, where I've provided links to each person's respective statements for reference. The evidence, context, and mine and Red's thoughts around each situation. You're intended to reach each section in the order they're presented. This document should be viewed in desktop and in light mode for the formatting to appear correctly. Some information and screenshots appear in multiple sections for whoever is relevant to. The first few sections being Nanolist, Bao, V-Card, and Mimi's concert, and Shy Lily culminate in a section breaking down what you've seen throughout them. The last few sections of this document being a standalone, unless stated otherwise. Every link in this document is working at the time this is posted. This document will not be edited after it's posted either, because we live in 2025. I need to say that this document was written without the use of AI. I understand some of the things in this document may be damaging to people involved. They understood that their claims would be damaging to me before they publicly made them too. Well, I mean, obviously. This is a weird thing to include, because they're calling you a liar, so obviously they would know. They're not they're calling you a liar, but they're calling you a manipulative psychopath. Of course it's going to be damaging. Everyone can review the evidence for themselves and decide what really happened, but if I'm really the person you're led to believe me, if I really am the person you were led to believe me to be, the burden of proof is on the accuser, not the accused. I really hate the use of this line. And the reason I really hate the use of this line is because they did provide proof. Hang on, let me see if I can modify this real quick so it's my disclaimers there. It should be good. Okay. I don't like this line. Because they did provide proof. You might not like it. You might think it's not enough. But they did provide proof. Is my chat not working? I guess my chat's not working. What the heck? Okay, well, that's fine. Sorry about that. They did provide proof. Anyone who says that Nanolist, Bao, Shiley did not provide evidence, they're wrong, because they did. They posted screenshots, they showed screenshots, no one refuted them. No one said, well, no, that's not what the case is. Redacted didn't come out and say, no, this is actually what the screenshot shows. Cinder didn't come out and say, no, this is what the actual screenshot shows. At least not until now. So, right now the burden of proof is shifted. The accused now has to prove the accused is wrong. So please, this is incorrect. Okay. Redacted. Red helped me put this entire document together. We want to be upfront and honest that this was a two-person effort. His own commentary is present throughout it and is labeled as his and highlighted in blue. This is just a minor nitpick, but why isn't he red? Oh, crap, I didn't need to do that. Minor nitpick, why is he not red? Red, hello, I'm red. Background blue. I'm Cinder's longtime partner and have worked alongside her since she started this career. I helped her put this document together to set the record straight. Over the past few months, I have had come to terms with being the reason why Cinder's image, her relationship, and her career were all ruined. I hurt people who are my friends, I fucked up, and she had to answer to the world for it by herself. My actions ruined everything for her, and I'm taking responsibility and helping her pick up the pieces. I didn't want to put out something sooner without her that could have made things worse. I ask you don't hold what I did against her. Okay. Red and I are still together. We had a falling out and spent some time apart after the documents dropped on April 26th, but he was still here for me when I was ready to talk to him again. We were able to work things out between us and forgive each other for what happened. I wasn't planning to say anything about this publicly, but I felt I needed to. Okay. Years ago, I cheated on Red online for my own selfish reasons, and things I said about him were out of my own frustrations and past experiences. I made things sound much worse than they were at the time and mischaracterized the person he is. Red already knew that this happened way before it was made public in April, and no one was ever told about it before then either. We addressed both of our problems in our relationship and moved past it a long time ago. Good for you two, I guess? It had nothing to do with my career or current events. It isn't relevant to talk about either, about further. The romantic relationship between Redacted and Cinder is not irrelevant. I agree there. However, because Redacted is officially your manager, or was officially your manager, it is relevant. And the reason it is relevant is because he's your boyfriend and your manager. If you are not communicating 100% of the time about 100% of events, how do we trust anything? This is something that needs to be ironed out. Communication is infinitely more important because he's not only your boyfriend, but he's also your manager. You should be talking more than just a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, because you're also talking about business. We disagree, we get mad at each other, we argue, but our relationship isn't toxic or abusive in any way. Okay, well, that's understandable. I would appreciate if the speculation around it would stop. I was not aware of any such speculation, and I was not making any speculation on that regard. Red and I have always had some level of communication problems, even with each other. Neither of us are... Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. I can handle this by myself. I think. Maybe. Possibly. I'm already, like, seeing bad stuff that I don't agree with. But I'm only 7 pages. 5... It isn't. What the heck? You know what? I think I know why. write the right chat link? Yeah, I know the BGM is still on. I want it to be there. The BGM should be a little quieter so it's not like going over me, but for some reason the chat's not working and I have no idea why. Working. Is this a problem with OBS? Oh, there we go. That fixed it. Okay. The BGM's not too loud, is it? Hang on. I dropped on my earplugs. Okay. Well. Alright, I'll turn it down a bit. Okay. I think that should be a little bit better. Alright. Okay, alright. Let's see, did I? No, I did not. Red and I have always had some level of communication problems, even with each other. Neither of us are good communicators beyond service level. Unironically, get good. Get better at communicating, at least with each other. At the very least, with each other. You two are dating, and you two are manager-talent relationship. Get better at communications. It's hard to open up when we get in our own heads about things. We butt heads and disagree with each other sometimes, and even more so working together all day, every day. It's gotten better, much better over the years, but it's never been perfect. Nothing ever is. So the idea that anyone in any relationship would know about and agree with everything their partner feels, says, and does is crazy to me. Okay. When you're just boyfriend, girlfriend, this isn't a problem. Even if you're a husband and wife, this isn't a problem. You're a boyfriend, girlfriend, manager, and talent at the same time. That becomes a problem. A lot of people will harp on this, saying, well, it makes sense that they don't talk about everything. They should. Boyfriend and girlfriend, manager and talent. They should be communicating more. If you don't like that concept, either break up or don't be manager talent. I'm sorry, but if this is too hard, you need someone. And also, not to mention, were it me, I would not have someone that I'm romantically involved with be my manager, because that might color how they do their managerial work. I would much rather my manager is an AI or a robot rather than a person who likes me like more than just a friend, right? Like, I'd be fine with having a friend as a manager. And when I say a friend, I mean someone who's really willing to call me an idiot. Like, call me an idiot, tell me I'm retarded or something. Let's see. I'm not the only one who's ever had a significant other keep secrets from them, and neither is Red. Every relationship is different, has its own nuances, dynamics, and problems, functioning in a way that only two people involved know and fully understand. No one looking in can say otherwise. Because I cheated on Red, should I assume everyone's significant other has cheated on them in the past? You joined my Google Docu deep dive. Why aren't you watching Shiva? He's probably more interesting. Okay, well, if you wanna listen to me read this and like state my opinions on this person, I'm sorry, but I'm just reading Google Docu right now. See you later, Dom. Okay, Werewolf. This is a 1,000-page document written by Sinder. Back in April, late April, one famous artist, Nanoless, came out with a document that accused Sinder. Yes. Well, she's a wolf, but Fox. She's a hellhound, I think. Yeah. Okay, so Nanoless, a famous artist, and I think the main artist behind Cinder's brand, came out with a document that said Cinder is a manipulative, narcissistic psychopath, and a bunch of other girls, including Shy Lily, Bao, Numi, and all Silverveil, all came out and corroborated this, and essentially guillotined Cinder's reputation overnight. She then posted an apology, which is really, really bad. I read it yesterday. And now, 5 months later, in October, I believe this was actually posted like a week and a half ago or so, she dropped an 1,000-page document, which is supposedly going to exonerate her. Or at least change opinions. So far, my opinion has not changed. So this is the 1,000-page document, and I'm going through it. And yeah, right now I'm still thinking Cinder is the worst person in the room. Or Cinder and Red, I should say. Because everyone in the VTuber sphere is autistic and socially inept. Yeah, Shiva, go back to your game. Alright. Because I cheated on Red, should I assume everyone's significant other has cheated on them in the past? Should I assume that all of my friends' relationships are the same as mine? No, and for me to claim I know exactly how things work between any of them just because I'm the friend that sees them a few times a year is ridiculous. I don't know why this was included. This part is completely irrelevant. I don't know why this is here. But at the same note, I can't really fault her for including this. I'm seeing a lot of bloat right now. So, I mean, it's 1,000 pages, so I already don't like that. When I became Sinder, we wanted to keep our relationship private. In public, Red was simply my manager, and we hid our relationship from my friends for over a year during multiple trips. We agreed that I'd tell my closest friend about our relationship in March of 2024 because we felt we were close enough and trusted them enough to tell them. When we traveled, my friends saw us always close by each other and showing each other our work DMs on our phones almost all the time from chats we were both in. Instead of talking things out loud to keep up with our projects while away, and to keep them private between us. Oh, I'm sorry, I think I read that incorrectly. When we traveled, my friends saw us as always close by each other and showing each other our work DMs on our phones, almost all of the time from chats we were both in, instead of talking about things out loud to keep up with our projects while away and to keep them private between us. Okay. It's easier to say, look at this and keep each other on the same page, rather than have a verbal conversation while we're around other people at almost all times while away. What they saw at conventions and vacations was all they saw. Only Red and I would have any idea how we worked together and acted around each other when at home. It still comes off as that they didn't talk to each other in private. But maybe we'll see. We'll see something. I lived with Red and his family from the summer of 2022 and to the end of February 2025. I have never outright told anyone this, including my closest friends. We wanted to keep at least part of our personal lives private from everyone. Fair? Even telling some people we lived apart. On stream, I've always said I lived with family friends, and streamed in the basement. The basement part is true. Cinder's a basement dweller. Sorry, that was an uncalled for joke. It's where I spent the majority of my time, and it's where I worked and streamed from. It's where I spent the majority of my time, and it's where I worked and streamed from. My career started there in 2021 with my ASMR. Red was the one with the PC, mic, and experience with content creation since it's always been his hobby. I would go there more and more often until I moved in when I became a full-time streamer. For most of my earliest streams with my PNG model. I think she's just framing her relationship with Red, so for extra context. But this is all entirely unnecessary, honestly, in my opinion. Red would be in the room with me, modding on the laptop and making sure things would run smoothly. He was there as my tech support since at the time I could barely play games, let alone understand how to use and fix OBS if something went wrong. We built my own PC and I stopped needing him by my side by the time I debuted my first model in June 2022. He moved his PC into his own room and has worked from there since. Starting sometime last year, my streams kept disconnecting and we couldn't figure out why. This was going on for months and no matter what we did, it kept happening. We thought there was something wrong with the internet that we couldn't fix, so as a last resort, my parents and I made space for me to move back in with them with my entire stream setup in February. We were able to fix the problem, but it ended up having nothing to do with the internet at all, and I've been working and living here since, separate from Red. The reason why I'm revealing all of this now is because we could have easily gone through each other's DMs whenever we wanted in those 3 years, but we didn't. This is why you should have. He's your manager. He is your manager. You should have been going through his DMs every single day about anything with anyone who might be considered a business partner, artists, other VTubers. This is what you should have done, but you didn't, and you are admitting it right here. We'll see. We'll see. We still have 900 pages to go through. It's not like we've never shown each other our DM, our messages directly. We did all the time, but we didn't comb through each other's DMs at the end of every day to read anything we might have said. And I don't know who'd say that's normal to do. He's your manager. If it was just your boyfriend, understandable, but he's your manager. Anything that is remotely business related should go to you. Now, maybe you trust him. Maybe you trust him enough. But everything should still go to you. And if he's not sure about something, he should say, "Hey, can we talk about this? I want to go iron out some more details." And you should do that too. The fact that he's your manager and you're not doing this right here, like you're not showing each other every single message, even like remotely business related, that tells me that you made a really big mistake. Let's see. We would just tell each other things what happened, and that was that. I never felt the need to look over his shoulder to check on anything and everything he was saying and to who. We trusted each other, and he always had my best interest in mind. I'm choosing to have Red continue working with me. He will be doing most of what he did for me before, but will not be doing any work-related communications for me in any channels I'm not also a part of. I now have access to his Discord account to check on things myself if need be. It's clear to me that he learned his own lesson from what happened. This man should not be your manager. He should not be anything resembling your manager. If you are not going to do any work-related communication, if he's not going to do any work-related communications, unless you're also part of the room, he doesn't need to be your manager. You can have him talk through your account, because then it comes from you. If you are going to be in every single room that he's in, he doesn't need to be your manager. He can say your boyfriend. That's fine. I don't care. He should not be your manager. If you're keeping him as your manager right now, this is a big mistake. You should fire this man as your manager. You can keep him as a mod. You can keep him as maybe like a personal assistant or something. Not your manager. Because if this happens, if there's anything of this, or sorry, let me rephrase. If a situation happens where he does work-related communication and you say you're not in the room for one reason or another, it doesn't matter why. It absolutely does not matter why. Maybe your like mom is in a hospital, or your dad is in a hospital, or you have like a really close family friend in a hospital and you can't be there, but Red is doing managerial work for you. This opens you up once again to what happened 5 months ago. Do not do this. Alright. Okay. He made mistakes and I forgave him. I wouldn't be here or be where I am without him, and he's just as much a part of Sinder as I am. I mean, if you spell the last 3 letters of Sinder backwards, you get Red, I guess. He wasn't just a manager that could have handled some messages. He had a part in a lot of the things I did. He's always been the main creative mind behind my debuts and other releases too. He could be the creative director. He doesn't have to be a manager. If you keep him as a manager, you are making a huge mistake. You can have him creative director. You could have him something like that. Like the idea man. I don't care what the title is, just don't make him a manager. Don't give him manager duties. The manager, legally speaking, is you. Do not let him be your manager. Even with how involved he was, Red was still his own person, with his own ideas, his own opinions, and his own feelings towards people, his own goals, and his own ambitions, working under the same brand as me. Okay. Alright. I'm going to repeat it. He should not be your manager. He can be the loud American in the Japanese country, company, the one who like loudly proclaims what a good idea, what's a good idea or what's a bad idea. But he's not your manager. He should not be your manager. He's always been the business sensible one out of us, and the work side of things was always his focus. We worked together on almost everything, but we didn't agree on everything. There have been many business or creative decisions we'd argue back and forth about, sometimes taking days to reach a compromise. Red didn't always consult me before making his own choices in his messages with our partners. He is your manager, or he was your manager at the time, and I guess he's still your manager now. This is a fuck up. This is 100% a fuck up. A lot of time I agreed with what he did or said and it was fine, but sometimes I didn't, and we either had compromise or I had him walk back what he said. The fact that this happened several times is bad. This proves he's not manager material. Either that, or you're not putting a tight enough leash on him. So, Red is either a bad manager, or you're not putting a tight enough leash, or both. Red didn't tell me about every single interaction he had with... Red didn't tell me about every single interaction he had with people we worked with, and I didn't expect him to. I trusted him. I understand this sentiment, but you shouldn't have. Okay, let me rephrase that. I understand this sentiment, and trusting him is big. I get it. He's your manager, he's your boyfriend. You still need to verify everything. There was never a reason for him not to tell me something important. That is until we disagreed about one of my friend's bow. At the start of the year, we moved a lot of our work-related conversations with various artists into a project server so everything could be organized in one place. Okay, this makes sense. I could be included in discussions and decision-making where I needed to be, and would be able to see everything being said without having to rely on Red to relay every single detail of the things he was handling. He doesn't need to be a manager in this case. This was for organization convenience, and so I could interact with every person working with me directly. However, this doesn't mean Red didn't still use his DMs to do business or talk to people we were working with. Besides the allegations in Nano's document, no one else we've worked with has ever complained about Red, and we've both worked with dozens of people who I believe would say their experience working with us is nothing but positive. I said this last stream about this subject. Artists are not a monolith. They're not all the same people. From what I gathered, Nanolist is very, very weak mentally. She has a very low mental fortitude. You should have kept that in mind. You knew it because she said it to you, and you said you had a low mental fortitude too. You need to treat every single person as an individual. Artists are not a monolith. It doesn't matter. Like I said in my apology, there were things Red didn't tell me about or hid from me, and did without me knowing his DMs. They're all shown in this document ordered below. I didn't know about these things beyond what I was told, if I was at all. Red's inclusion of Bao and Cotton in his exclusivity deal with Nano in January 2025. Red telling Artist 1 Bao was someone he considered competition while discussing exclusivity on the same day as his deal with Nano. Red's conversation with Nano about Shy Lily in April 2025. Red's conversation about mod number 1 about Silver Veil throughout 2024 and 2025. Red asking Artist 2 about not working with Silvervale in March 2025. Red's conversation with Artist number 1 about Silvervale in April 2025, which Artist 1 told me about days later. The names of Artist 1, Artist 2, and Mod 1 are hidden to protect privacy since they weren't directly involved in everything that happened in April. They will be reintroduced later in the document. Thank you, Sinder, for doing this. For labeling each one clearly, now I can differentiate them. It's still probably not relevant, but still. Falling out. The night of the first documents were posted, Red was here with me. I ended my stream and he came over to see me while we worked on a few things together. We were still awake when Nano and Bao posted their documents at almost 2 AM EST. When it comes to Nano, Nano's Brazilian from what I understand. And her time zone is different. So, her time zone at 2 AM for EST is probably might be like in the middle of the day. Hang on, let me look that up real quick. Brazil local time. Okay, so 4 hours, 4 p.m. Brazil local time versus EST. Okay, never mind. Okay, never mind. Brazil time is apparently just basically right next to EST. So I think it would be 3 AM Brazil time. So I don't really like this because I think Bao is EST also. EST normal. I didn't understand what was going on. I started panicking. Red tried to explain what happened, but I blew up at him and kicked him out, regrettably refusing his help. We weren't in contact for almost a month after. I had one close friend reach out to me after things were public, and I responded to them sometime after Red was gone. I chose not to include their messages here. I am so sorry, blank. I'm trying to collect myself here. Red and I aren't speaking right now, and I'm so upset with everything. Okay. I was distraught, and I posted that Red was fired later that morning. I wasn't trying to throw him under the bus to avoid accountability. I was blindsided by my friends publicly pointing the finger at me for his words and actions I didn't even know about and I didn't agree with. I didn't know what else to do. In my apology, I said, as of yesterday, he's no longer working with me, and I have not extensively discussed any of this with him. Because Red will continue working with me, I will be deleting this tweet sometime after posting this document. He should not be your manager. He still should not be your manager. Okay, so it's this tweet, effective immediately, Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator of my brand or my intentions. I'm sorry everyone, I'll make a larger response when I am able to. Okay. This is bad. Right here. This section right here is incredibly bad. Because you are choosing to continue to work with Red, everything that Nano posted is basically solidified. Okay. Yep, Red is saying working with Sinder. He shouldn't be, but he is. Okay. Alright. My apology and taking accountability. Now that I've reviewed everything that happened and had time to reflect on my own actions, there are some details I need to point out and corrections that need to be made from my apology. Then I'll go over the things Red or I or both of us did wrong, so we can take responsibility. Each section after this will explain the full story around each major individual involved, anything Red and I did, and defending ourselves against everything we didn't do. Quotes from my apology will be present throughout this document to show what they are in reference to. Screenshots that are directly taken from other documents are highlighted with orange. Okay, I like that. Dates and important messages of any screenshots are highlighted in yellow. Okay. quotes for my apology are gray, and Red's own comments are being presented are labeled and highlighted in blue. I know this is gonna be a meme, but you had the chance to make red red. Okay? I would have made it red just for the funny and just for like the levity. But we're already at the point where this is a 1,000-page document, so that's a problem. Okay, so this is the document that we went through yesterday. I went through yesterday with Dive Bomb Dom. The things I claimed and admitted to in my apology were based on what I knew at the time, what was published in everyone else's document, and what Red told me right after. I shut him out when I shouldn't have, and I made my apology without his help. Without all the info in front of me, and without knowing the full scope of what happened, how it happened, or what to believe, I was under extreme stress and pressure to say something as soon as I could, and was expected to accept fault for everything I was accused of, but not guilty of doing. Some of the things I wrote were overly apologetic, and I made things sound worse than they actually were because of the severity of my situation, or of the situation. The main takeaway people had from the apology was that I pushed everything onto Red and didn't take accountability for anything myself. That's what it came off as. That's what it came off as, unfortunately, because you had the one line where you said Red's actions colored the way you saw things. What I blamed Red for in my apology because he was guilty of doing them. Him telling me how great it would be to work together with Silvervale. Him holding a grudge against Bao. What I blamed Red for in my apology when I was also guilty. Red was the one with the business-oriented outlook on things from the start. I adopted the same mindset from working together as time went on. I wrongly made it sound like I was brainwashed into thinking this way with my apology. I don't think it sounded like you were brainwashed. So this doesn't help you, but it doesn't hurt you either, in my opinion. What Red was guilty of in my apology that I didn't know about until writing it. Red and Nano ever talking about a model for GD3 in November 2023. Red including Bao and Cotton. It sounds like she's not taking accountability, definitely. There are some things that she is trying to take accountability for, but right now it's like, well, I did some bad stuff, but this stuff wasn't that bad, or I didn't do this stuff, and so on and so forth. And it's just, my eyes are going to be glazed over at the end of this. I might need either a nap or like a burger or something to just like cleanse the palate. I did have some ice cream that helped. What Red was guilty of in my apology that I didn't know about. Red and Nano ever talking about. Okay, I got that. Red including Bao and Cotton in his conversation and eventual deal with Nano around exclusivity in January 2025, and bad-mouthing Bao in their DMs as if they were our shared feelings. Red talking to Nano about Shy Lily and her model in April 2025. Things I said about Red in my apology that I was wrong about. He did not manipulate Nano. He did not push Nano to not work with Silvervale, and she was not a constant topic between them. What he was intending to do is not what it looked like it was. He did look like he was attempting to manipulate Nano. He did look like he was trying to push Nano to not work with Silvervale. So, the problems with this right here, you need to present evidence to do so. Now, by the time we get to the Nano part, let's see. Okay, Nano's the next part, so maybe we'll see it soon. But it looked like Red was trying to manipulate Nano, and it looked like Red was pushing Nano to not work with Silvervale. Things I took accountability for in my apology. Agreeing with Red to talk to Nano about exclusivities, agreeing to specifically name Silvervale in the terms, and knowing a deal involving her was made. Guilt-tripping Nano, feeling overly attached to Nano and her work, not knowing about what Red had said about Bao to Nano when I should have, not speaking about Red's feelings towards her and letting it spiral to the point it did. This is a big one. You admit right here that you should have talked to Bao, but you didn't. I mean, at least you admitted it. Being upset and taking it personally when Bao hired my video editor, that's also something that was a big issue. Being upset when Sakamore told us he wouldn't be working with us again. Confiding in Red about Shalila's behavior towards me. Typo. Becoming resentful towards Silvervale. Letting my insecurities and public comments influence my feelings towards Silvervale. Assuming Spike copied me. Being very possessive of my design details early in my career. Overreacting to Niantail's Hellhound OC design, which I was apologized for in the past. Cheating on my boyfriend. Neglecting or leaving behind friends of mine. This part's fine. I admitted to the world that I cheated on my secret boyfriend, and the story was pushed as I took no accountability and used him as a scapegoat. Even with all these concessions of what I did do, I was still somehow a narcissist who couldn't accept fault. What I did was not admit to the right things that people making these claims already decided I was guilty of. And they also expected me to apologize for everything I've ever done. Sorry, I was burping. They were also expecting me to apologize for everything I've done in the past, without it ever being mentioned, even if the matter was already settled in the past. I understand the things that my manager did. My manager Red did. That I didn't know about or ultimately my responsibility. Yes. And my ignorance doesn't change that. I should have taken more care to check up on what he was saying and doing, but I was being blamed publicly for things I had nothing to do with. He's your manager. Legally, he is you. Even if you weren't personally involved, you're involved. I'm sorry, that's how it works. My accusers went out of their way to claim Sinder did this and Sinder said that, to completely disregarding Red's agency from any of his own words and actions. Red represents you as a person and brand. The proof I must have known everything about everything he's ever said or done was because they said we worked together on things on our phones during the few times a year we were traveling, and Nana's document showed 2 of my screenshots from over a year apart from separate situations where I knew more or less what had happened between her and Red. He's your manager. This screams to me that these people didn't know what the word manager meant. They didn't know what the word manager meant. And they're using that as a shield against people who know what the word manager means. And the people who accuse them have a different definition of what who have different knowledge of what manager means and what manager represents in the VTuber sphere. Okay, alright. There's no other evidence presented for their claim, but they told everyone it absolutely had to be this way. Emphasis was placed on Red's usage of we or our, as if they could know for a fact that it meant Red was always speaking with my knowledge, approval, or oversight every single time he said it. This was necessary for the narrative to work against me. He's your manager. Again, this comes off as Sinder and Red using the word manager in a different way that everyone else accepts what the word manager is used to mean. So, because they didn't iron this detail out, this is a communication issue. Like, at the very best, this is a communication issue. At the very worst, it's malicious. But I will take this in the best faith possible. It's a communication issue. This should have been ironed out somehow. Unfortunately, this is where we're at. 1,000-page document. And I'm reading it because I hate myself. This is what I said in my apology about this. I do not condone anything about what Red said about Bao in these DMs either, and him using we and our in this context is abhorrently incorrect and I believe was done to gain greater credibility behind what he was saying. Oh, what the heck? Why is the... Let me fix this. Oh, no, it's fixed. Red says, I have always been more or less the creative lead on things we did, like model design, project ideas, and art in general, and Sinder often agreed with my creative judgment. She trusted me to do the communication I did with her for her without oversight. For example, a lot of times I would be the one talking to artists we were working with who only need me as Cinder's manager. If I knew the direction I wanted to take something with or without talking to Sinder beforehand, and I said I want this art to be like this instead of Sinder wants this art to be like this, then it felt awkward, like an awkward thing for me to say. In my mind, to the person we were working with, I'm just the manager, not the creator, not the streamer, not the client. As the manager, you are the client, because you represent the client. So you're the client by proxy. You still should be running everything by Sinder at this point. So, Red, I'm going to say this right now. If I was hiring a manager, and you put your resume on my desk, and you put this on your CV, out. You're out. I'm not hiring you. What I myself wanted wasn't important. What Sinder wanted was. So in order to give weight to what I would say, I started using we early on without speaking for her directly, saying Sinder. If we wanted to do something a certain way, then it gave me agency by implying that we both agreed on and made the decision. That Sinder was aware of the decision being made, regardless of if she actually was or wasn't at the time, and that my words had meaning. I was speaking on we, the brand's behalf. It became a habit of mine to talk this way regarding any projects or business dealings. This isn't a problem, but I still wouldn't hire you. Gun to my head, I wouldn't hire you. I didn't start doing this because anyone told me I should be. I didn't speak like this all the time or in every single message. It's not like Sinder never knew about what I was saying when saying we. If afterwards she did disagree with me on something, then I'd have to walk back what I said and say that Sinder actually wants it this way, for example. This is also a problem. Because if you're not sure on what Sinder wants, you should have asked her. But to prevent this entirely, you should have just said, let me talk to Sinder and I'll get back to you. I'm sorry, but this is one of the reasons why things take so long to iron out when it comes to VTubers and managers and all that stuff. Because there's a back and forth, and that back and forth has a middleman, and those middlemen have middlemen. Unfortunately, what you should have done is you should have gone to Sinder. Unless you got it in like complete writing or something, the first thing you should say is, let me talk to Sinder about this. If this is on your CV and I'm hiring a manager, you're out. I'm never hiring you. Very often, Sinder was on the same page as me beforehand or would agree with what I said without her knowledge, using we afterwards. In the case of exclusivity deal with Nano, I used we when we were talking about Bao, so it seemed like Sinder also backed how I felt. Sinder was not only wasn't aware of this, but I knew she didn't agree with me about what I was saying. Why is this man your manager? Oh my goodness. This man knows Sinder didn't agree with him. Sinder knows he didn't agree with her. This man should not be anywhere near a managerial position. In our conversation with Nana, Nana said herself that she was not really down with working with people who Sinder didn't want her to. So I made sure to tell Nana about how we felt, expressing my own feelings to her as they were both of ours. This will all be shown in Nano's section. I'm not even five. This is like what, 7 pages in or something. I'm low psychic health right now, man. I'm low HP right now. Okay. Come on, gamer subs. Give me some energy. Okay. All right. There are 3 things in my apology I need to correct that will be shown in full detail in this document. Missing information, lies, and incorrect statements from my apology. I left out a lot of information regarding my experience with Silvervale in trying to overly apologize to her, and it ended up making things sound much worse than what really happened. I lied about not knowing that Red spoke to Nano about spite. I lied about not knowing that Red spoke to Nano. Okay, sorry. I am... Sinder left out a lot of information regarding her experience with Silvervale in trying to overly apologize to her and ended up making things sound much worse than what really happened. Cinder lied about not knowing that Red spoke to Nano about spite in 2023 to not make things worse for herself by revealing more than Nano or Spite did about what happened regarding her. I remember reading about this from Mugen's tweet. I saw Mugen tweet about this. People who say this is a nothing burger out of 1,000 pages are underestimating how big of an issue this is. Because when she says this, she lied about not knowing things. It makes her apology look even worse. Her apology already looked really bad. Hello, Ronan the Jester. This is not my normal. This is not a normal stream. I'm reading a drama document, and I've taken a lot of psychic damage. Okay, all right. I was wrong about which year the situation with Neanderthals took place in. I wrote that it was after my debut, but it was actually an entire year earlier. Okay. Yeah, sure, lay it on me. I'll take a quick break to answer this riddle. I'll check my Discord logs while I'll wait for the riddle. Silent guardian of the sacred gate, I stand in vermilion yet never late. Though made of wood, I point the way where gods and spirits both may stray. I mark the path with stoic form, sheltering souls through storm and warm. What am I whose arches rise beneath the ever watchful skies? Silent guardian of the sacred gate, I stand in vermilion yet never late. Vermilion, made of wood, I point the way where gods and spirits both may stray. Mark the path with stoic form, sheltering. Guardian of the Sacred Gate. Vermilion. What does the word vermilion mean? I know that's a color, but... Yeah, okay. It's a shade of red. Where gods and spirits both may stray, I mark the path of stoic form, sheltering souls through storm and warm. Guardian of the Sacred Gate. So... where gods and spirits both may stray. Mark the path of stoic form, sheltering souls through storm and warm. Arches rise beneath the ever-watchful skies. Guardian of the Gate stands in vermilion yet never late. Stands in the evening, I guess? Though made of wood, I point the way. Gods and spirits. Those arches rise beneath the ever-watchful skies. I wouldn't know this off at the top of my head. I'd probably know. Okay. I have a feeling I know what this is, but I forget the word for it. And it's gonna be one of those things of like, if someone says the word, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's it. I'm like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to be. But the word would elude me right now, so I'm sorry. I don't think I can. Sonic Guardian of the Sacred Gate. Standard vermilion, never leave. Made of wood, I point the way. I mean, that leads to a sign, but that can't be it. Check. No. Gods and spirits both may stray. Not a checkpoint. It's What is there like a special word for this? I mean, it's not like a motel. Well, it would be like a motel, but it's like an inn or a tavern on like a road or something, on like the middle of a road or something, which is like a checkpoint or something. But I mean, that's probably wrong. But a Sacred Gate. Nah, okay. It's not good. I give up, man. I got nothing. I don't know what's supposed to be. Okay, I thought I knew it, but I didn't. A Torii Gate. Ah, okay. Alright. Yeah, that makes sense. Vermilion, though. I like... I wouldn't describe a Torii Gate as vermilion. But, I mean, yeah, that's... Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Alright, that was a good one. Alright, let's see, where was I? My apology and the accusations made against me. I did not cover everything Red and I have done wrong. I've laid out everything below that will be presented throughout this document so we can address them and take responsibility. Oh jeez. Explaining the motives and reasoning behind our actions that were not meant to justify or diminish them or feeling those affected, but to understand why they happened. Everything one or both of us are guilty of, that accountability is taken for, shown in this document in the order they are presented. We both became neglectful of many friendships and personal relationships online and IRL. Red and I became consumed by our work and prioritized my career over everything else. Red considered everyone, including our friends, competition to some degree, and I agreed. Okay. There's nothing wrong with this, because competition can mean anything from friendly rivalry to bitter enemies. So, in the best faith possible, taking them as friendly rivals, it's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Red and I left Tricky at our hotel in Tokyo one day during our Japan trip in October 2024. This is just a dick move. I chose to distance myself from Cotton after what happened between her and a friend. I don't understand why this is included. I tried going back on my agreement with the artist Nixu in April 2025. Red asked Nano not to work with Spite in January 2023 and told me about it afterwards. I lied about not knowing he spoke to her about Spite in my apology to avoid talking about it. Cinder, you're making your apology worse and worse by the word. Cinder, this reads as, I'm a liar, but let me tell you why everyone else is bad. Red initially dissuaded Nano from accepting a model from Geary in 2023. I guilt-tripped Nano in 2023 and February 2025, but still sided with her. This is bad. You admit you guilt-tripped Nano. That's manipulation. Red reassured Nano about considering canceling Bao's model in October 2024. I knew Bao's model was canceled in August 2024, and I didn't try to do anything about it. This is very, very bad right here. Red and I agreed to talk with Nano about exclusivity, including not to work with Silverveil, specifically on any more models in January 2025. I've said it before, asking for an exclusivity deal is no issue. The way you handled trying to go exclusive, that's the issue. Red and Nano agreed to a deal for her not to work with Silver, Bao, or Cotton in January 2025, only telling me about Silverveil's inclusion. Red spoke to Nano about Shy Lily in April 2025 after seeing Nano work on a model for her and never told me about this conversation. He should have. This is another reason why Red should not be a manager. We asked our video editor about exclusivity after Bao started working with them in September 2023. Okay, well, that's not an issue. Red convinced himself Bao Gate kept her video editor to hurt our future music video projects in December 2024 and then held grudge and list of grievances against her. Are we sure Red is a man? I know I said this man does not know how to cook a steak, but are we sure that Red is a man at this point? I didn't speak to Bao to clear things up about what I knew Red held against her, and it led me to be an awful friend to her for months at the start of 2025. Okay. Both Red and I mismanaged the planning and communication with Numi about her concert at the start of February 2025. I pulled out of performing in her show and almost didn't go after choosing business over my friend. At least you admitted you made a mistake here, but you still made a mistake. We both grew to dislike Silverveil over the past few years for various reasons, including harassment and comparisons, my own insecurities, and how Silverveil acted towards me. Red asked an artist not to work with Silverveil in March 2025 and never told me about it. Once again, Red should not be a manager. Red and I assumed Spite was copying me in 2022 and early 2023. Overreaction. but yes, this is, at least you apologize for it. I overreacted to Niantao's Hellhound design, OC design in 2021. Every claim of wrongdoing that was made against Red or I that isn't listed above is not true. Whether it was an assumption or a lie in someone's document statement about me or verbally on stream, I would list the false accusations here, but there's been such a ridiculous amount to this point that I don't even know where to start. I will let this document speak for itself. These actions were not over years like the public was told. The majority of these actions happened in an 8-month span from August 2024 to April 2025, with how each person was affected, if they were affected at all, is explained throughout these documents. Nothing was black and white, and none of these actions were motivated by jealousy, envy, or greed, or being malicious for the sake of it. Okay. Every claim of wrongdoing that is made against Red or you that isn't listed above is not true. What about the blacklist? Because what you did with Nano, telling her, or what Red did with Nano, I should say, to tell her not to work with someone, and if they ask Nano for a commission, Nano goes to the Red. Nano goes to Red and or Sinder and says, hey, so-and-so asked me for commission me. That is very, very fucking wrong to do to ask an artist. So, this is immediately a lie. Now, that's what I think, that's what it comes off to me as, but I'm just going to assume that they thought it was a good idea, like it was a decent deal. It's not, but they're wrong. My friends, it's been falsely claimed that I was using, manipulating, sabotaging, betraying, and backstabbing all of my friends for years in an effort to deplatform them and ruin their careers. There was never some kind of years-long grand conspiracy or of deceit against anyone. I've never pushed the ladder down behind me. The phrase is pull up the ladder, but I understand where you're going for. I've never been jealous or envious of any of my friends or anyone else's. My friends were not stepping stones I used to further myself. I love my friends. Our experiences together are real. Our memories together are real. It hurts that I even need to say that here. There are plenty of things that my friends know I've done for them, helped them with, or included them in for no other reason that they were my friends. I've always answered their questions and offered them advice when they asked, done my best to be there and support them at their debuts with their own endeavors, and I personally bought so much of their merch for myself without ever saying so. I literally brought brownies my mom made across the country to share with them. I spend my own time making my one-of-a-kind cosplay pieces of the VTubers for them for no other reason than they are my friends. More than the 3 finished pieces below were planned more than the 3 finished pieces below were planned for more of my friends, including Bao, before I put them all of my crafting focus into my Nihilizer cosplay. It meant a lot to me that I could make things that meant a lot to them. Okay. Alright. So there's nothing wrong here. I think this is fluff though. This is extra fluff and unnecessary. I don't know what they think I did against them other than what I listed above, or where these ideas came from, or what rumors they're hearing about me, or how my friends collectively agreed that this must have been the case after everything we've done and shared with each other. I absolutely could have been a much better friend, but I just can't believe every single one of them thought this little of me at a moment's notice. There are a dozen of my friends involved before Nana's document was posted, and still not one of them said anything to me before they were publicly posted. If they were talking to Nano about this before the documents were posted, and they were involved with Nano's document, they think you're manipulative. They have no reason to go to you. Again, this could have been fixed by fixing Red, okay? You should have put a tighter leash on him, but unfortunately you didn't do that. A lot of my friendships did suffer due to where my priorities have been, especially over the course of 2024, because of my focus being overwhelmingly on work and less on my personal relationships outside of it. I neglected people I cared about, and so did Red, both online and IRL. Even my closest friends, unless it was about work, I didn't put as much energy into just talking and hanging out, but that's not to say I never did, never wanted to, or disliked them for any reason. I had my things going on, and I knew they had theirs. When I wasn't streaming or working on something, I'd be isolating or hanging out with Red to decompress, okay? And I didn't have the energy to socialize. I tried to plan collabs with friends as often as I could, and it was a way to hang out while still appeasing my content brain. My collabs with my friends were made into YouTube videos, but to say I was using them for that, as if countless other VTubers don't do the same thing, is crazy. I feel like this is a bit of a misrepresentation. When I was traveling to see my friends, all I wanted to do was hang out and spend as much time together as I could, and it was the happiest I was. Red and I always loved, valued, and looked out for and appreciated our friends, even if we didn't show it as often as we should have. I'm sorry to those of my friends who haven't given the time they gave me. I'm sorry to those of my friends who I haven't given the time they gave to me. And I'm sorry for those I haven't spoken to in a long time for no other reason than my own negligence. I'm sorry to my friends that I only focus on work with and I didn't spend enough time being your friend outside of it. The business mindset. Oh my goodness, so many pages. Red and I slowly became more closed off and neglectful over the past couple years, but especially through 2024, focusing more of our time and energy on this career. Work became almost 24/7 for us, never taking a break. It was our job, our hobby, and almost all we talked about. We loved what we did. We both became consumed by the content grind. Our work-life balance became non-existent. We were going and going and going all day, every day as a two-person team, working to an obsessive degree. We were always trying to do more with more people all the time. Everything became about doing bigger things, achieving more, accomplishing more, growing bigger, launching more cool things, having more opportunities while keeping up with at least 4 to 5 streams a week. Our problem wasn't greed like it was claimed, it was ambition. I mean, ambition can be a bit bad too. Wait, did anyone claim that she was greedy? I don't think so. I don't think anyone called Sinder greedy. They called her narcissistic, I think. But I don't think they called her greedy. So I think this... I don't recall anyone calling Sinder greedy. I think they were leaning towards this, but... I'm going to assume that this is just Cinder's perspective on what she thought they were saying, so... Ambition that was wearing us too thin to keep up with everything, but it's never enough to take a step back and relax. We were always looking ahead, always had to be progressing, and never stopped to appreciate where we were or the people around us. Yes. The money was nice, but it's never been the driving factor for anything we did. It was an indicator of a successful project, event, or merch drop that anyone understood. Oh, Mother Hubbard. Okay. The majority of what I've made and spent went back into my work or towards the house my dad has been building. I've released a lot of merch, and it's something that Red and I have both been passionate about. Coming up with and releasing cool new merch products is one of the most fun and fulfilling things to work on. I can believe this. But this is fluff. It's unnecessary. And being on new products like a drink flavor or trading card game was super exciting to us. It was always about launching cool things for my community over the money it made. I've turned down merchandise opportunities, many more sponsorship opportunities than I've ever accepted, only taking on those I really wanted or had a strong interest in. Sorry. Even though a lot of them were paying very well, being a greedy, money-hungry person has been falsely projected onto me. It's never been all about money for either of us. I don't think it was about money. I don't think it was ever about money. I don't think anyone thought it was about money. I think it was about being the best. Because that's what everyone else felt like it was. Because you're trying to prevent other people from getting work with artists. One instance may be called out, or I may be called out regarding this was during my Heaven Hound model debut. During my lore video, I had an intermission where my chat needed to fill a gold bar on the screen with bits to progress the video. It was the easiest way for me to implement interactivity into the debut. My chat having direct involvement by cheering me on was important to the story being shown. The motivation wasn't to have people give me money for the sake of it. I don't think this is necessary to make it bits, but I don't know enough about Twitch and I am a small streamer, so I don't get bits anyways. So I don't want to comment more on this. This mindset got myself and my career to where it was, but it took over our lives to an unhealthy degree, leading to deterioration of our health and relationships with people. Being cancelled and away from work gave us time to address the problems in our personal lives. For example, I have my own dog now who's been keeping me busy. I've gotten back into cosplay after not working on my Nihilister build for months. I've been trying to lead a healthier lifestyle. I've been going to the gym regularly despite finding it difficult to be motivated about things since April. I've been making changes so I don't fall back in the same unhealthy work mindset I was in. In my apology, I said I'm disgusted with myself for buying into the narrative that my friends were competition. I just learned about all this myself, and there could have been so many other friends affected by that the narrative that things always had to be competitive. Red always considered everyone our competition, including my friends. I understood and agreed with his reason below. It didn't change anything between my friends and I didn't treat them any differently because of it. The only person that I became directly competitive against was Silverell, and that wasn't right of me. At least you admit this part. At least you admit this part, because you're absolutely right. It wasn't right for you to do this, but you still did it. Now, I'm not saying that you can't be forgiven. You can be, but you still did it. And admitting it is the first step. Red says the content creation sphere is massive, and the VTuber sphere is a fraction of that with its own audience. Everyone is always doing something, launching something, playing something, and it's a constant race to relevancy. Okay. It's a constant race to relevancy, whether or you want to look at it that way or not. It's the nature of the industry. Part of the reason why we were always working on new things, releasing bigger things at a faster and faster rate, was to stay competitive in the space. I don't think I need a comment about this. In the space, in a general sense, everyone was competition. Friends, other VTubers, and other content creators, but at the same time that anyone and everyone could be considered competition, they are also collaborators, co-workers, and partners. While there is some truth in the fact that there is a finite amount of time and money that can go around at any given moment, when it comes to content creation, a rising tide lifts all ships. The fact that they didn't see this at first is bad. The end goal was about staying relevant in people's minds and making sure our projects could succeed alongside anything going on at any given time, while also topping our own things like we've done in the past. Okay. If you're constantly streaming, you'll always remain relevant. There are some people who can go very, very long periods of time without posting anything, and people will still flock to their videos. JonTron, Internet Historian, Wendigoon. They get millions and millions of views on every single one of their videos, and they only post like once every 2 or 3 months. At this point, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So that's one thing you can keep in mind. While also topping our own things we've done in the past, at no point was this view ever motivation or excuse to hurt, take advantage, or put down other creators around us. especially friends. This is a business, it's a job, but keeping the business aspect of things in mind didn't affect the way I saw our friendships with people or the way I treated them. They were my friends too. We both cared about them, supported them, and helped them out when they needed it. I've always had the backs of the people closest to us. The only people I've considered as direct competition in a negative sense were people either we had something against, or they had or did something against us and were working with artists important to us. By April 2025, this was only Silvervale from how she acted towards Sinder for years. This is a bad look, bro. Bow after what I thought she did to us and our other friends in December of 2024, but only until sometime after my deal with Nano in January 2025, and potentially soon to be Lily. By the way, she was treating Sinder and coincidentally getting a model from Nanolis at the same time. It's wrong of me to feel this way, especially towards Bao, and I'm sorry. Here I want to address the people that read and I heard that don't have a larger section in this document. Tricky we. My friends Red and I traveled to Japan last year about a week into our trip around the country. We arrived in Tokyo for the last few days there. Red, Tricky, and I were all talking about going to the Godzilla store the night we arrived, but other plans left us with no time to go. The next morning, Red and I were up super early and were ready to leave the hotel at 8 or 9 a.m. We waited in our hotel room for about an hour without hearing from Tricky at all, because we only had a few days left in Japan. Red and I wanted to make the most of our remaining time. We were around friends all week and didn't have much time, if any, time alone together in Japan. We were around friends all week and didn't have much, if any, time alone together in Japan either. The other half dozen of us there either had their own plans or were still sleeping. There were other friends staying at the same hotel as Red, Tricky, and I, so instead of waiting around for Tricky to wake up, we selfishly chose to go into the city and go to the Godzilla store without her. By the time Tricky was awake and ready to leave the hotel, Red and I were across the city and didn't go back to get her. We only met up with her at the end of the day when everyone reconvened somewhere. Red and I are sorry to Tricky for leaving her behind and hurting her. We've always been there for her, especially when we traveled together. We didn't think she'd be left completely alone with how many of us were together in Tokyo, but we still should have waited instead of going off on our own. She was one of our best friends and we're both so sorry. This is fluff. This could have been handled in private, and this doesn't need to be aired out. This is immediately a paragraph or two that don't need to be in this. I'm so sorry to Cotton for the way I've avoided her and turned down collabs for a situation that had nothing to do with me. I'm sorry to Cotton for the way I've avoided her and turned down collabs together for a situation that had nothing to do with me. I thought I was being a good friend to someone I was close with, but it was unfair to her to treat her that way. I did not agree with how Red included her name in his deal with Nano, and I wouldn't have let him if I knew about it, regardless of how I felt about her at the time. Okay. Alright. Okay, alright. Red says, it was wrong of me to ask Nano not to work with Cotton. It was a spur of the moment thing, and after hearing about the situation she was involved in, I took it upon myself to do what I thought was right by another friend. Cotton's always been nice to me personally, and she didn't deserve that. I'm sorry. This makes you look like a bad friend. Because you here said Cotton never did anything bad to you, and you still decided to screw her over. Nixu deleted her tweet with her document about me. She shouldn't have, because she was right. I was going to include it here for reference, but I left it out because of what she wrote in it. So instead, I've summarized the situation below. Second, I don't want any public reaction to this. Let's see. I really do not want to appear on videos or similar. I do not want my case being used as an excuse to put more hate into it. I just want to share and let it out of my chest. I'll probably delete it in the end. Nixu or Iomaya AF is an artist that reached out to me via email about making artwork in exchange for showing it off and giving a shout out to her Patreon on stream. I had seen the email, but she made a tweet laying out her terms, tagging with me with it. I messaged her that I was interested. I put her contacts with Red, and he handled things from there. Through Red, we made our agreement. It wasn't until she had a large portion of the sketch finished that I changed my mind about our agreement and didn't want to do it anymore. I don't know what was going through my head or what my reason was for this, but I told Red to call it off. Red tried to make it seem like there was a miscommunication, somewhere to save face for me, but it was really because I was being unprofessional. He talked to me and I agreed to follow through with the art showcase and shout out on my stream. However, I failed to follow Nixu's terms as they were agreed upon. I didn't verbally shout out her Patreon and only showed the link to it that was on her artwork. I also didn't show the censored NSFW version of the art, but that was because I was worried about getting in trouble on Twitch. This part's understandable. This part's also understandable. This is an unprecedented situation I caused with an artist, and I've never done something like this with anyone else. I handled an agreement that I made extremely and regrettably unprofessionally. This was way out of character for me, and I'm sorry to Nixu for how I handled things and the stress I caused her. I encourage anyone reading this, please support her and her incredible work. Okay, alright, fine. Okay, the Nanolith section. 254 page, Jesus Christ. Alright. I'm going to take a quick break here. I'm going to put my ice cream bowl in the sink and grab some laundry that I need to fold for later. I will be right back. Okay, alright. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I dropped something real quick. Let me fix that. There's Kraken. Oh, this is good enough. Ostrich is fine. I feel like eating birds. Okay. Yeah, poultry. This is Nanolith's document. Nana's document claimed, we reread this, so we don't have to go through this again. Nanolith says, Nana's document claimed both Red and I manipulated, used, and dragged her into drama, while slandering multiple VTubers, including our friends. These claims are the basis for everything, for everything else publicly released afterwards. Documents from half a dozen people, and many others tweeting their grievances with me, and all hinge on Nana's document being posted and its validity. When I wrote my apology, I said I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over Nana's commission decisions. When I wrote this poorly worded sentence, I hadn't seen any of the DMs. I was in a panic, and I didn't think Nana would be lying about anything, but now that I've read Red DMs myself, I can say that Nana was not manipulated, abused, used, lied to, mistreated, expected to take action over any drama she was told about, or incapable of making her own decisions regarding her commissions and clientele. She was never forced to do or not do anything. She has always been in control of her own choices. Pause. Just because she wasn't forced to do anything doesn't mean she was pushed in a direction or not. You could be 1000% she was in right in saying that she wasn't forced. You could be 10,000% correct. You could be 100,000% correct. You could be 1,000,000% correct that she was not forced to do anything. It still comes off like you pushed her in that direction. And that's the problem. Nano always had the ability to say no. Doesn't change anything. She was met with understanding and faced no repercussions professionally or personally from either of us about when she did. Doesn't matter. Nana's messages with Red were deceitfully presented to push a narrative that never happened. I don't believe Nano ever showed the full context of her messages with Red to my friends. Her claims were backed by Shiley, and I believe they were misled into blindly supporting her. Alright. We're gonna get to the evidence. But we'll see. I'm gonna have to pour myself some more drink later. Nana was a close friend who we respected and was a massive part of my own success. I've only ever praised her privately and publicly. There was nothing she could do for me to hold anything against her or choose to stop working with her. Red and I always encourage Nano to do what's best for her, not us. Red, who handled our plans with her, made sure to work around her schedule, push projects back if she needed more time on them, or to take a break, and to give her first priority on projects she was interested in. He trusted her, and the extent he lied to her about other people involved was in telling... I'm sorry, I'm reading this incorrectly. Let's see. He trusted her, and the extent he lied to her about other people involved was in telling her his own genuine thoughts, observations, and experiences with them as he knew them. The same way my accusers did to the public with how they assumed Red and I had to have operated together. The claim that Red and I worked to sabotage projects Nano had is a lie. We would both praise her for the work she did for other people, and I've always celebrated and supported new Nano model siblings when they debuted. Even if Red was really asking Nano to cancel every model she had, it was still ultimately her choice to do so. It was ultimately still her choice to do it or not, but all the blame for her actions was somehow put on me. Okay. Alright. Here's the problem. The argument is that if Red didn't ask Nano to cancel, if Red didn't say anything, tell Nano to cancel, would she have canceled? We've seen the chat logs. Absent any extra context, it looks really, really bad. We need evidence right here. I'm sure we're gonna get to it, but it looks that way. Also, here, Red is your manager. It doesn't matter if Red was doing it. He's your manager. Legally, he's you. I'm sorry. That's how it is. You're still not taking responsibility for hiring this man as your manager. He should not be your manager. He should never be a manager. Fire this man as your manager. You can keep him as your boyfriend. I don't care. Get rid of him as your manager. Creative director. Fine. Manager. No. Bad. There are only ever four... I'm pretty sure this is a contradiction. I'm like 90% sure this is a contradiction. This is not good. This is not a good look. Sinder, what the fuck are you doing? And there are only four people Red ever explicitly asked Nano not to work with her agreeing not to. The first is Spite at the start of 2023. Red asked Nano himself, and he told me about it after. I lied about knowing this. My apologies, since it was never mentioned in Nano's or Spite's documents. Bao, Cotton, and Silverville were also all part of their exclusivity deal in January 2025, and each for Red's own reasons. I was only ever aware of an agreement of asking Nano not to work with Silver anymore. Red never told me about the other two. I am not guilty of him using his free will to push his own agenda, express his own feelings to Nano. But I understand that as my manager, everything he said to her or anyone else is my responsibility, whether I knew about it or not. So you understand this, which means you are guilty. This knot should not be here. You are guilty of him using his free will to push his own agenda. You needed a leash on this man. Why don't you have a leash on this man? You need a leash? Get a collar. Put it on his neck. Get a leash. Attached to it. Make sure that leash is very, very short. Although they were friends, it was unprofessional of him to talk gossip and work interchangeably. Yes, this is why he should not be your manager. Once again, if Red put his CV on my desk and he says, I want to be your manager, I see this. I see the CV. I see him do things like... Crap. Hang on. I see him do things like this. He's out. He's never getting hired. Anyone looking for a manager, if they see anything about Red, any person worth their salt would not hire Red as a manager. Okay. Alright. Okay, alright. We've worked with Nano. We've worked for Nano. Hang on, sorry. I want to touch back on this real quick. Once again, you are guilty. Because his free will is what got you into this mess. As a manager, he should not have free will. Because he represents you. His free will should be your... his free will is completely gone as he's acting in the capacity of you as your manager. You understand? You say you understand this right here. You say you understand this right here. I don't think you do. We've worked with Nano for 4 years. She's an incredible artist who I've treasured working alongside for my entire career. I put my faith in her at the start when we were both much smaller creators. She saved me from a year-long struggle to get my first model, and she's been with me every step of my journey since. I wanted Nana to be a part of anything she could, and chose to make her artwork the backbone of my brand. And I love and appreciate every single thing she's done for me, and I'm proud of everything I've been able to do for her. In April, I believe Nana found herself in a situation she couldn't back out of, and then chose to do what would result in the most beneficial outcome for herself: hide the truth. Okay. This is a very long opening statement. It's too long. We already had to go through about 13 pages, 15 pages, something in that range. And now we're getting to the evidence. This opening statement is way too long. There's so many things that could have been cut out. So many things that could have been handled in private. Below are a large portion of Nana's DMs with Red and I over the past 2.5 years that show any situations that brought up in Nano's document in full context, show the relationship we had with her, how she felt about us and other people involved in everything, and any relevant conversations that weren't included in what was posted to the public. I've also included some of my own messages with her and some messages with other people. Some of these DMs are repeated and included in the following sections in this document. Nana's profile picture is different in some of these screenshots because they were taken at different times. Okay, yeah, fine, that makes sense, I get that. Chronological order, EST, private information is censored. Screenshots that include messages that were in any of the documents are red border, or screenshots that are directly or taken from another document are highlighted in orange. Dates are yellow. Quotes are gray. Red's own comments are blue. Once again, missed the opportunity to make red red. By the start of 2023, Nana was already sharing her commission plans with Red. She also told him that it was okay for us to commission someone else for her merch or artwork. Sorry, it was okay for us to commission someone else for merch or artwork. Red had previously talked to her about. Red said it was no problem for us to wait for her to do it. For the majority of my in regards to an analyst, for the majority of my time working with her, Red was the one almost solely doing the communications about new plans and negotiations through his private DMs. Okay. Alright. But was blank the only new client you took on for this year right now? I got another one done. No, another one, but it's done already. Okay, cool. It seems like a lot of new people. Oh, sorry. Redacted says, oh, and just curious, but was blank the only new client you took on for this year right now? Nala says, I got another one, but it's done already. Redacted says, okay, cool. It seems like a lot of new people want to work with you. Lol. Nala says, yeah, I kind of feel it too. By the way, you said you want to leave Daki and Booba for later. It's okay if you want to commission someone else. I don't want to delay your plans, but if you're fine waiting, I'm fine waiting. I'm more than happy to work on it. Redacted says, oh, that's okay. We're fine with moving things around. It's only really Sinder if you draw it. Okay. Other things going on are preventing us from doing it for Valentine's like we wanted to, so we have to move it anyways. Plus, focusing on getting 2.0, the demon, and 2 starting screen artworks is done as more priority too. Nanala says, goddamn, this means a lot to me. WTF. Okay, I mean, this shows that they're being nice. That's fine, I get it. This actually, like, does make Red not look as bad. But based off of some other screenshots, which I don't think are being debunked, Red still is a man that does not know how to cook a steak. Later that day was the first time Red brought up Spite to Nano. Red asked Nano not to work with Spite, and she gladly agreed not to. Red only told me about this after it was done. It wasn't something we talked about beforehand, but I was okay with it. Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. Nano never said. Let's see. Nano never said anything about this one to me. We've never talked about Spite. I shared feelings Red expressed here since he was the only other one who knew how I felt. What he said about negative comments I was getting, everything regarding Spite is presented in her section of this document. This is not included in Nano's Spite document. Why? Since they didn't say anything about it, I chose not to either. I lied about not knowing about Red's conversations with Nano about Spite to try and not make things worse for myself, but I still accidentally alluded to it because of the state I was in. Okay. Alright. What's this? It's just a meme. Sorry about that. Cinder was upset over what we both thought. Cinder was upset over what we both thought was Spite copying her. I saw Spite interacting with Nano, possibly with the intent of trying to work with her. I went to Nano myself and asked her not to without talking to Cinder first. This is about one person and one artist that they never worked with before who was fine with agreeing to it. As far as I know, it never actually affected Spite. I've never talked about Spite with any other artist, and I'm sorry to her that I asked this in Nano. Okay. I don't believe this, but the screenshots might exonerate him, so let me see. This was the total first of 4 total times with 3 different artists. I'd specifically ask anyone not to work with someone else, which are all presented in this document. Let's see, who is this Spite? This is the email. Okay, Redacted says, kind of a weird question, but would it be okay if we requested you don't work with someone? Nanolis asks, you mean like being exclusive? Redacted says, no, like not to accept a commission from one person. Nanolis responds, oh, who is this? Why is... Oh, no, okay, I see. It's their Discord, okay. Redacted says, Spite. Nanolis responds, oh damn, I almost said something like one Cinder X Spite. Redacted says, ever since Cinder debuted, we've been slowly implementing her new design details on herself that Seemed like she might have taken from Cinder, including how her having ear flames she's never had, and we think it's been because she was the Hellhound until Cinder showed up. But also, some of Spite's community have been rude to Cinder in chat or on YouTube comments on other people's clips on Cinder. I've noticed her being friendly towards you, possibly with the intention of working for you. Or working with you. I just wanted to ask if you're okay with being one Hellhound exclusive. Nala says, of course, I'll protect my baby. But I also noticed the Flames edition. It's a shame people can't educate their communities. Thank you, Nano. I feel really bad asking you something like this. I really appreciate it, though. It's okay. There's no place for rude people. Nano says, it's okay. There's no place for rude people. Redacted says, Nano Mama, best mama. Nano says, Mama, protect. Okay. These are people who don't understand the internet. These two people, Nanoless and Redacted, do not understand the internet. Nano and I have never talked about Spite. Here's me searching Spite in my own DMs with Nano. I don't like the screenshot. This looks edited. Like, to me, it looks really, really suspicious. Hang on, let me see if I can do this myself. Let me look up. What is the resolution on the monitor or this hang on. Why the hell is your Discord window so small? Okay, never mind. Maybe it's not edited. But I still don't like this formatting. It's a bad screenshot. An example of the relationship Red had with Nano and how they would talk with each other. Nano told Red she wants to make my winter outfit after Red messaged her about it a few days earlier on January 22nd, 2023. This is from Redacted. Hey Nano, were you interested in designing Cinder's winter outfit? Not a lot until later this year. We wanted to ask in case we need to find someone else to design it for you to draw. Nanolist says, did I agree on doing Cinder Winter? Because I do. I just don't remember if I replied to that. Redacted says you did not reply to that, Nano. Nanolist says, I do want to do them. Redacted responds, oh my gosh, you do? Nanolist, I do. Redacted, I gotta talk to some people and change things around. Oh my god. Nanolist, wait, if you already got some for that, no need to change. Redacted says, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so this just looks like banter. Okay. Yeah, so it's just joking right here. And this really isn't relevant. I mean, I guess it's supposed to, explain, like, the relationship between them. But still, like, this is, unnecessary. Right, March 27, 2023, Red asked about Nana's other work for us to plan around her with and Nana willingly shared this is normal between them. I'm guessing this is Redacted saying, be confident, Nano. Nanolist responds, it's not my nature. If you expect low, anything is win. Which is not wrong. Redacted says, well, I'm glad it's been going good for you. What does your art schedule look like right now? Nanolist says, Demon Cinder, March and April. blank April and May. Full new model, mid-April art cuts. And a few cup arts in between. I have something around, already have something for around June. I think that's it. Redacted says, let me see what else Cinder and I have planned to work with you on this year. Nana says, oh yeah, it would be great to know everything. Also, it's okay to have Cinder arts for Patreon rewards. I didn't have much time for Patreon. They are starving. You missed the part where I got so frustrated, I actually stopped reading and I took a step away from my computer. Yeah, it got that bad. Let me see if I can find the part again real quick. So wait, I'm right here, March 29, 2023. So let me go back, double back to that part where I got like really frustrated. The claim that it was, I think it was this part. The claim that Red and I worked the sabotage project Nana had was a lie. And then there were only 4 people Red ever explicitly asked Nana not to work with. These two statements are contradictory. They're in the same page. Because people can read this as this. People can say there were 4 people Red explicitly asked Nano not to work with. People can read that as sabotage projects. Here's another bad part. Even if Red was asking Nano to cancel every model she had, it was still ultimately her choice to do it or not. It doesn't matter. Red asked her. Blame was put on you because Red is your manager. Red is your manager. Legally speaking, you asked her. Okay, so let's see. Okay, I read this. Nano willingly shared this is normal between them. This is also okay. So I know a lot of people were saying Nano should be talking about who's commissioning her. I don't think this matters. Artists are not a monolith. One, these people are business partners. So business partners know business partner talk. 2, I have seen artists post commission work that are work in progress on main. So this is not an issue. Every single artist has different policies regarding client privacy or client privilege, I guess you could call it, even though it's not attorney. Client privilege. It's killing me too, Werewolf. I'm like getting frustrated. I'm getting very frustrated right now. Alright, let me adjust myself in my chair. My gamer chair. March 29th, 2023, Nano told Red she wouldn't be able to meet the deadline for 2 pieces of art she was doing for me. Red was sympathetic and extended the deadline for her. Nano implied she's been taking on too many projects. This isn't a problem right here. This is Nano not handling her own work properly. Nano says, hey Red, I'm feeling a bit concerned about deadlines for the 2.0 art. Redacted asks, what's up? Nano says, I think it would be better if you find someone else to do for the 2.0 start screen. I didn't know they'd be used the same day, but I can work a bit harder to meet the dates if you really want me to work on it. Redacted says, do you think you would be able to do it by the end of April? I know you have blank and blank in April too, right? So maybe mid-May? Nanolith says, oh, I thought it would be earlier. Redacted says, well, ideally we wanted to have both your arts within the next week or two, but if you can't do that, and we're going to have to push back the debut for other things too. End of April, mid-May would be okay if you can manage that. I don't want to overload you too much. Nanolith says, yeah, for the next 2 weeks would be very pushy on me, but end of April / mid-May is good. Redacted says, okay, I will let Sinder know. Nanolith says, if you can't push the debut back, I really recommend someone else. I don't want to delay things for you guys. Okay, this is a cutoff, but we have it in the next screenshot. Redacted says, and there's also the waifu cup for art for Sinder. IDK, I don't know when they want you to start that, but just another thing to do at some point. Redacted says, no, responding to Nanolith saying, if you can't push back debut. Redacted says, no, it's okay, we have to wait for blank anyways, and some other things being worked on. She'll only be starting the demon model in another weekish when she's back home. So the debut will be anywhere from end of May to mid-July, depending on when things are done and Sinder and I aren't traveling to cons instead of end of April. Nala says, kind of relieved, besides delaying is sad. Redacted says, it's okay, Nano, but we have a lot of projects we want to work on with you if you're free this summer right now. Nala says, I would love to if I have the time. I might stop taking big comms for some time and only work on current contacts. I'm kind of dying. Redacted says, I'm sorry we're giving you so much to do. Nala says, it's okay, it's my fault. I decided to birth another baby. Redacted says, after 2.0 Demon Arts, blank and your other projects, Patreon stuff, and then we will take up all your time. Nala says, gladly. Blank is almost mostly done. You gotta make some cuts for rigging. At least Redacted says, at least Sinder Art can help out with your Patreon after the debuts. Okay. April 2nd to April 14th, Nano turned down artwork plans that were previously discussed for some time off. Eventually, Red told her we were able to find another artist for those plans. In between, Red praised Nano for her work on another VTuber's model. Nano says, Red, we need to talk. Hi Nano, what's up? Redacted says, hi Nano, what's up? Nano says, I think it won't be possible to take Sinder's merch comms. I really need to take some time off for commissions. Redacted says, okay. Nano says, thank you and sorry for this. Redacted says, Nano, no worries Nano, you deserve a break. When you're ready to take on comms again, we'll have things for you to do if you want. Nano says, yes, of course. I just need some time to breathe, but still would love to work with you guys. Redacted, that's a day later. Yeah, it's about 21 hours later. Then 6 days later, Redacted says, great job with blank model, Nano. Nano says, thank you. And on the 14th of April that same year, Redacted says, hey Nano, we found an artist to do a Daki and Booba mousepad for Sinder, but it's for her original design. We'll wait for you to do the 2.0 and Demon design Dakis and mousepads. We wanted to let you know so you don't feel bad about it. Okay. April 12th, 2023, I messaged Nano about some post ideas for my first waifu cup when she's ready and available to do so. Sinder says, hi Nano, Blank was asking me when you'll have some time to work on the art for my GamerStop's cup. I said you were a little busy right now. Do you think we could come up with some post ideas together when you have a chance? There's no rush, I know you're busy. Nano says, oh, of course you can. Of course, can do. You said you wanted two-sided, right? Sinder says that would be amazing. April 30th, I told Nano I was trying to get her the okay to work on my waifu cup art on stream so it would be easier for her. And I told her how much it meant to me to have the first waifu cup with her artwork on it. Sinder says, Nano, I hope you've been having a good weekend. The starting screen arts you made for me are so nice, I love them. I've been trying to see if it's okay for you to work on my GamerSubs art on stream to make things easier on you. They might be able to have the art on a big banner at Anime Expo if it's done soon. I can't wait to have the first Nano Cup, it's so special to me. Nano says, oh shit, you want a banner? Yeah, letting me work on stream would help a lot, but if it's not possible, it's okay, I'll manage. Sinder says, I want to make things as easy as possible for you, and then maybe if you don't want to stream collabs yet, we can hang out while we work on, if you want someday, no stream. Nala says, I would love to actually like get used first. Maybe we actually hate each other. Laugh. No. Sinder says, no, don't say that. I could never. Nala says, I'm sure about that, but it would be hilarious. Okay. Some more banter. Nothing really important here. There's a lot of fluff in this document, and I don't like it. May 4th to May 5th, 2023. I asked Nano about one of my then upcoming Model Sister debuts when planning my Damon debut, so they won't accidentally fall on the same day. Cinder says, this is May 1st. This is May 1st. Cinder, this is May 1st. Cinder, this is a problem. This is May 1st. Cinder, what are you doing? Okay. Alright. This is why you don't... Like, all this fluff is just making you look... Werewolf? Okay. I'm going to take this into best faith. This is a mistake. This is a mistake on her part. This is not intentional for her to do this. Not this way. However, this is what happens when you have a 1,000 page document. Her document was way too big. She didn't know how to manage it. There's so much fluff in here, and she gets rookie mistakes like this. If this was a court case, stuff like this gets her screwed over. Cinder says, Nano, do you know when blank plans on debuting your model, just so I can plan around it if it's near my debuts? Nala says, let me check on that. I believe it's around June 22nd or July 2nd. I love how bots come into my Twitch chat going like, you're gaming nicely. This is a Google Docu, bro. Hang on, let me see if I can scrap that clanker real quick. I'm gonna scrap that clanker real quick. Well, that's good to hear. It's good to hear that the date's going on very well. That's nice. That's nice. I like that. That's some psychic healing right there. I gotta take this picture, by the way. Hang on, because it's funny. Yeah, you know what, let me do that right now. I'll say hi in this chat real quick. Alright, close that out real quick. Yeah, I'm just going to do this from my phone. Makes it easier. Following. Where's Shiva? Shivaruka. There we go. Okay. Alright, okay. I typed in his chat. Okay. Okay, I already covered this. May 4th, May 5th, 2023. Okay, so the dates are actually correct here. That's good. Red asked about Nana's projects and about when Silver contacted her. Well, technically it is my main, but you know. Shh. Red asked about Nana's projects and when Silver contacted her about her model made in 2022 and encouraged her to set aside time for her own content. Okay. Oh, I didn't see what they responded. Should I check? I don't want to like pause too much because I don't want to pause too much. Oh, okay. I basically just typed that message and I just left immediately. Well, it was on my phone, that's why. Let's see. Redacted says on May 4th, 2023, after the GG 2.0 and Demon Arts edits, we'll give you a break to focus on yourself for a while. You still have a lot of other projects to do right now other than Sinder. Nala says, thank you, I need some break. Currently only blank Silver seems to want another model too. Redacted says, like brand new. Nala says, yep, she didn't reply to the model specification, so I'm taking this chance as a chance to be free. Redacted says, Nana, you don't need to answer, but I'm just curious. When did Silver contact you about making her first model? Also, I feel like you should take until at least July off to focus on you and your streams. Nano deserves Nano time too. Nana says like 2 weeks before her birthday. Redacted says, okay. Nana says, at this point I might just stick to Cinder, blank, and blank. Silver's not very responsive to me. This is completely benign. Art commissions... Art commissions take a very long time. There's nothing wrong with this. This could be completely benign. I don't think Nanolist is bad for saying this, because sometimes people are very busy. I've encountered this when I commission artists myself, and I'm not commissioning artists nearly as big as Nanolist. And I'm not nearly as big as like someone like Silvervale. Silvervale probably is super, super busy. Probably, it might even take days to, for her to answer even a single DM. Redacted says, that's surprising. WTF, this is a man that does not understand content creation. Maybe he does, but he doesn't understand everything about content creation. We love working with you, not just for your art. Nanola says, that's so sweet of you. Been having fun with streaming lately. Hope I can keep up. Redacted says, you've been doing really good. Whenever I see you on, I lurk for a little while. Cinder still really wants to collab with you. Maybe we can set up a drawing stream where we both draw VTubers in paint with like a 5-minute timer or something. Nanola says, I want to. I'm just too pussy. Yet gibberish. This sounds like fun, NGO. Not gonna lie. Okay, that's fine. Red says, I asked Nano about when she made Silver's first model from her because we grew suspicious of if it had anything to do with Cinder and her debut a couple months earlier. Nano wasn't well known as a model artist in the summer of 2022 and had only done 3 models at that point, including Cinder's. More about this topic is in Silver's section of the document. This is bad. Because they included this part. Why are you suspicious of it? What does it even matter? At this point, you're already telling everyone tacitly that you are still of the mind, like the hyper competitive mindset of everyone's an enemy. This is bad. Once again, this man should not be your manager. He should not be a griller either. This man, he can be your boyfriend, not your manager. Okay, let's move on. May 5th, 2023, Sinder thanked Nano for the Waifu Cup artwork she made for me, and her scale figure was announced. Sinder says, Nano, you did such an incredible job on the Waifu Cup artwork. Thank you so much for being the best ever. Thank you for being so much for the raid today, Nano. I'm so excited. Oh, that's like a... That's like a 22-hour difference between these two messages. Nano, I'm so excited for your figure. I'm going to be the first to get one. Nano says, I'm sorry I didn't reply to you before. Oh shit. I'm excited and a bit nervous. Hope it sells well. And Sinder says, no, that's okay. I'm going to tell all my friends to buy. Nano says, I appreciate it. Not gonna lie, I'll shamelessly get all the help I can. Why is this highlighted? Why is this highlighted? Why is this included? None of this is important. May 9th to May 10th, Red talked to Nano about the situation with my first waifu club, which led him to revealing our experiences with Silvervale over the past 2 years. Spite was mentioned towards the end of their conversation, and it was the last time she was ever talked about. It was the last time she was ever talked about between them. Okay, sorry, Before this, I was told Silvervale had her own waifu cup with Nano's artwork on it, and that was already far into production. I was very excited and proud to have the first cup with Nano's art, and all of a sudden, that wasn't going to be the case. Not only that, but if my cup was going to be released after Silver's, I would have been harassed for copying her again. I still don't know where this came from, but I'm going to take her word for it. I've never heard about this. I've never seen this. I don't know if it's a schizo theory that Sinder has in her head, but I'm going to believe that this is true. Red says, I did not lie to Nano about anything I said in this conversation. I would have had no reason to. Everything I said was as I genuinely thought and experienced speaking to a friend I trusted. Okay, the dates line up here. I'm going to be like checking these dates because they made the mistake once. Right now, it's only a mistake. If they do it again, it might be a trend. Redacted says, you're literally the best. Nanola says, nah. Redacted says, the cup might be coming out a lot sooner than we were planning because of conflicts with another release. Nanola says, oh no, what a disaster. Redacted says, yes, there's another creator's thing coming out and we wanted to make sure Cinder's was released ASAP. Nanola says, damn, do you know when it is? Redacted says, not really, not exactly, that's why we're rushing. Nanola says, pretty hyped to have my art on a GG cup. Redacted says, waiting to hear back about moving the release date up though. Yeah, we're super excited to be the first with your art. Nano does a shy emoji. Wait. Hold on. Redacted says, had to move it up to make sure we have the first Nano Cup. Gonna be big. Nano says, I'm so excited. Let me know if you get the dates. Redacted says, it was supposed to be towards the end of June. We're waiting on a confirmation, but it could be within the next couple weeks. Nano says, let's go. Redacted says, the other thing with your art on it could be coming out soon. So we're going Sonic Speed on this bitch. Nano says, other thing. Redacted, but they still want the art at AX, probably without cups being on sale. Nano surprise emoji. Redacted says, yeah, wait a minute. Redacted says, wait a minute. Nanola says, sweating Pepe emoji. Redacted says, I thought you would have been told. Okay, so I'm probably not supposed to say anything, but. Nanola says, last red. Redacted says, you gotta keep this between us. Nanola, of course. Redacted says, no leaks. Nanola says, I'm leaking excitement. Redacted says, no, you can't even do that, or I'll have to send the gorilla that beat me up that one time to your house. Nanola says, okay, I'm clogged. Okay, so this is just banter. Redacted says, okay, so Cinder's been super excited about having the first cup with your art. Like, super big deal with the cool double-sided 2-color effects. Okay. Nanola says, she a cute, oh my god. Redacted says, she was talking to Blank today about the upcoming cups from other creators just because she was curious, and Blank was teasing a few to her. And he mentioned a new kind of cup he pitched to the heads at GamerSubs, and they agreed after seeing a certain piece of art, and it'll be used on the first kind of this cup. This new cup, instead of the normal transparent waifu, is a full body color art piece. I don't know how the cup will end up looking though. Okay, this is top secret. You can't say this to anyone, not even Blank. Because technically this was between him and Sinder, and I shouldn't know about it, but I'm the manager. And I thought you knew. Now it says gibberish. Redax says, and I thought you knew. Now it says, me GG people were very interested on my work. Maybe it was a foreshadow. Okay. Okay. Redacted says, this new full body cup art of Silver and is basically the same part of production of Silver, and it has your art, so this is spoiler. What Blank told Silver is that something you drew for Silver for Blank and it was never used, so she's reusing it here after Blank pitched the idea to make it. So Sinder starts panicking about it. We have no clue when they plan on releasing the cup, but if it's before Sinder, it won't be the first Nano Cup. And not only that, but Sinder said the hand with the heart position are very similar, which isn't your fault because you didn't know anything about this. And if Silver Veil nor Sinder invented the hand heart gesture. Oh my god. What is this? This makes Redacted look even worse to me. Come on. And if Cinder's cup were to release after hers, then it would just be more fuel to the ongoing drama between them, and Cinder will get more hate about it. Plus, hers and brand new full art color cup, while Cinder will have a normal waifu cup, it will be overshadowed by comparison. So Blank was doing overtime coordinating Blank to try and work out an emergency plan to get Cinder's cup out ASAP. Come on, man. Okay. Spoilers. This is spoiler text. There's just a lot of unspoken drama between Sinder and Silverveil. That means there's no drama. If it's unspoken, there's no drama. Nanolus asks, she has drama with Silverveil? Redacted says, there's been a lot of misunderstanding and coincidences. The internet thinks Cinder copied everything about Silver. It's basically to confirm that Silver doesn't like Cinder because of it. I've not heard about this. And I would like evidence about this. But I'm not even a tenth through this part of this document. And I'm stuck believing this on their word. Here's the problem. Their word is not worth that much. Okay. Nanola says, it's kind of sad my baby's not getting really well together, not gonna lie. Woot. Redacted says, Cinder's right to Silverveil multiple times and she's the only one that Silver won't say her name. Silver was at Cinder's debut last year. Cinder started growing fast, and that's not even a month later. Contacts you about getting a model for herself. Rushed for her birthday. There's more instances like that, but Silver refuses to follow, acknowledge, or interact with Cinder at all because it assumed Cinder copied her. It sucks because she didn't. Ironically, Cinder is only Cinder because of Silver, and not because she copied her. The complete opposite history lesson time before Cinder. With Cinder, she was Tashi with an ASMR channel, which she still does sometimes. Okay. Alright. For people like me who haven't been in the loop, I would love to see evidence of this drama between Silver and Cinderveil. Cinder and Silverveil. God damn, I'm retarded. Okay. Alright. Cinder and Silverveil. I would love to see evidence of this drama. Even random tweets from fucking nobodies who are like, hey, is Cinder copying the Silverveil? Because I've never seen this and I've never heard anyone talk about this. Maybe it's because I followed mainly Japanese YouTubers, but I've never seen this and I've never heard about this. I would love to see some evidence, but unfortunately we don't have any of that. Red says Silver didn't like Cinder and how she would respond to Cinder's raids and past experiences we've had that infer that Lily's reaction to her raids along with her. Silver didn't like Cinder and how she would respond to Cinder's raids is the past experience we had to infer that Lily's reactions to her raids along with her other behavior signal that she had a problem with Cinder. This is a schizo theory. This is a schizo theory, and it makes you look bad. This is speculation. The fact that he has speculation is bad. Don't do this. I might not even be able to finish this document. Okay, so let's see. They're talking about preparing. So this is just a backstory as to like why she went from Tashi to the Sakura themed wolf girl and then now to Cinder. Sorry, I'm not reading this because none of this looks like my throat's starting to hurt because I've been reading so much. And none of this looks important. Wait. Okay, I think this is, okay. Redacted, and some people think that Cinder and Silver sounding familiar, or they're designed somewhat alike as wolf girls. Every single wolf girl looks the same in this case. Or Cinder's model and Silver's original blank 2D model looking alike. Or the fact that they're both super similar personalities, or have similar sounding laughs must mean that Cinder copied everything. I don't know enough about Cinder or Silvervale to comment on this. An analyst says maybe Silver don't talk too much with me because of Cinder. I mean, I'm not blaming Cinder, don't worry. Redacted says, I don't know. I wouldn't think that's the case because she worked with you for a long time before Cinder. You've done a lot of art for her, yeah. Now, unless says, yes, this is kind of sad though. I think Cinder and Silver could be like sisters. Redacted says, I'm just wondering if she asked you for a new model because she caught wind of Cinder's upcoming debut and wants to one-up her. One second. Social Blade Silvervale. Can I see anything from 5 years ago? Wait, is this only YouTube? Compare Cinder Can I get a timeline that's further back? Not really. That's okay. So from what I can tell, Silvervale was always more subs than Cinder ever was on YouTube. But I know they're actually Twitch streamers. So let me see Twitch. Silvervale. Silvervale. Gain followers. I know it's not showing up on stream because I'm checking this on Social Blade. So if anyone wants to like check it while I'm leaning to the side, that's what I got. There's no compare button for this one. Sinder. Okay, alright. Can we do yearly? No, we can't. Silver or higher subscriptions. Hard to use this option. Okay, alright. That's weekly. Monthly gain. She lost a lot of followers on Twitch. Oh, okay, hang on. If I zoom out. Okay. So, November 2022. Silvervale. Oh no, these are gains. Okay. Never mind. That's not what I'm looking for. Silvervale Twitch follower count. Okay, hang on. Alright, so this is on twitchtracker.com/Silvervale. Lifetime overview. Okay, so this one's channel performance. Oh, is this views? Average viewers, max viewers, followers gained. Gain followers. Corporate clips. Overview. Followers gained. Hours watched. Lifetime overview. Total followers. What stream charts? Okay, so Twitch tracker is not helping me. But let's see if streamscharts.com is. Okay, so this one helps. Streamscharts.com Silvervale. Alright, so let me put this in to... Can I just directly access Sinder? Okay. Okay, nice. Okay, so in 2020, 10,000. So she's been on a steady increase all the way to her cap right here, which is 515,000 followers. Now let's check Cinder's. 12 hours watched. Sinder was never bigger than Silvervale, and Sinder was arguably never even close to Silvervale. So, I don't think this is good argument on Red's part, Because I think Red and maybe Cinder are inventing a fight that isn't even there. Silverveil has no reason to one-up Cinder at this point. So what I'm not liking is Redacted saying this, because he's acting like Cinder and Silver are competition. But it doesn't seem that way. I need greater context. If there was something, like, I would love to see some evidence that show people think Silverveil and Cinder are like have this competition between them. But I'm not seeing anything like this. Okay, alright. Redacted, let's see. Redacted says literally they're so alike they could be like sisters, like their personalities and their opposite designs, so they fit so well together. Cinder just feels like she's always in Silver's shadow, because that's what people think. Okay, alright. Nano post a picture of Silverveil and Cinder next to each other. Nanola says this would, or Redacted says, tell me this wouldn't work. Nana says yes it would, or it would work. Redacted says, but going back to the gamer subs thing, if Silver releases her new impressive cup first, it's just gonna overshadow Cinder's. Plus she'd take the first Nano Art Cup title, and since the poses are similar, people would say she's copying again. I keep seeing this, and I've never seen it myself. I'm going to presume it exists, but I would still like to see some evidence about this. Nanola says, I feel just like Cinder with blank. People still compare us a lot, and I feel like I'm always on his shadow. Okay. Redacted, and plus, oh, we didn't give blank Silver as a design reference. We gave her blank, lol. Nanolist surprise emoji. Redacted says, I feel just like Cinder with blank. Oh no, that's what he's responding to. Redacted says, I completely understand that. I actually like both of your art for a long time. Completely blank here. I don't know why. I've always thought of you as the bigger artists. Blank. Okay, so there's a lot of redactions here. I don't know why they redacted this entire thing instead of just cutting off right here. Oh, I guess it's an image, so people can't like reverse autistically search it up or whatever. But you can't tell me that this is better than this. Okay, God Artist Nano. I'm not supposed to have this image saved, but let me show you the cup arts. Okay. Nanola says, thank you, Red. On the hentai world, skill doesn't mean much but booba. Redacted says, yeah, but you draw the best booba, WTF. If Silver's cup comes out first, wow, Cinder even copied Silver's cup art and artist. It's not even in color. Okay. Alright. It would be announced that both cups are done by Nano. Nano copying herself isn't an issue. Ugh. How long have I been at this? Oh, it's been 3 hours. Fuck! Okay, alright. Now it says, oh shit, they do be similar. What have I done? Nano did this. And there's nothing wrong with this either. Also, this is a very common thing to see with anime girls and like prints and stuff like this. This isn't an issue. Holy crap. Redacted says blank, so at least if Cinder's cup comes out first, that's what we're trying to do, then Silver will be copying Cinder, but that won't matter because no one will say that because she's massive and has a full body cover art and will take attention from it anyways. But like I said, both Cinder and Silver are at some point, same point of production, so she could launch just as soon as us, but we don't know when. Nana says, if it wasn't so urgent, I could make a new art for the special cup. Redacted says, nah, it's okay, Nano, we really love the art you made for this. Maybe if they want another cup, we can always do a double-sided full body color artwork with 2.0 and Demon or something, who knows. But yeah, I really wish Silver could make up with Cinder. There's more drama that happened over the past couple years, but it's all from Silver's side. I want to bookmark this, hang on. Copy image. Fine, I'll do this. I want to punch Redacted even more now. This is Cinder's document meant to make her look better. Make her and Redacted look better. But they only look worse to me so far. I gotta take a break, man. They go so well together. Nana agrees. Redacted Bigel for real. Nana, I hope Cinder comes out first. I know the sad feeling. Honestly, you should try to talk before doing this. Like, what do you mean, Cinder to Silver? Like, talk and have things sorted just before just ignoring it all. Redacted, I don't think Silver is willing to. Cinder DM'd Silver on Twitter before asking to play Minecraft together since they're both really into it and was never really answered. And they're not Discord friends. Okay, let me explain the first interaction. Oh wait, it's late for you, you should sleep. Nana says, don't worry, I love gossips. Now it's 2 or 3 a.m. for you. MSP Mind Server, I'm sorry, I'm like, I can't like keep reading. I want to find something actually juicy. Red saying, Nano saying, don't worry, I love gossip. Nano's always been open to talk about drama and gossip with me. Okay. This doesn't matter. Cinder was designed in 2022. Cinder is a talented artist from high school and college, but she didn't pick up art for a long time until she got a tablet, laptop, and worked for the, like, thumbnail. Okay. That's from Redacted. She planned to do her and Silver. I don't think it's supposed to be Silverville because we're talking about Silverville. Planned to do her and blank drinking tea, Bao splashing water on her head and her getting upset, and blank playing drums while Cinder played Guitar Hero guitar. That's cute. I remember that art actually, but she never ended up doing it anymore. So only the Silver one exists, and no one knows about the other one. So in isolation, it seems like she only meant to draw this one for Silver. The problem is that in this tweet, Cinder says she's such an inspiration when in reality Silver wasn't. Wait. The problem is that in this tweet, Cinder says you're such an inspiration, when in reality, Silver was an inspiration for design by not wanting to be a cherry blossom wolf, but not by her streams, inside jokes, personality, because Cinder didn't watch Silver. Okay. So people look at this one fan art. Okay. Hang on. Is this tweet still up? If this tweet is still up, I want to check real quick. A little gift for at Silver Veil. I thought it would be cute to draw us together. Okay, so maybe I have to look for something. You're such an inspiration to me. Thank you for bringing me so much joy to this community. Can I get like the word for word, sir? Oh my god, okay. Hashtag doodle veil. Hashtag cinder doodle. Okay, I found the tweet. It's still up. Okay, so that's a recent one. I'm looking for contemporaneous. Yeah, it doesn't. I'm not seeing anything about like copying or anything like that, so I'm kind of sus on this. I'm kind of sus on this. I'm not seeing any like, cause the tweet's still up. It's got. It's got 22 replies, 59 retweets. Let's see quotes. No quotes. Well, it's got one quote from April 30th of this year that says, "This aged poorly." Okay. 760 likes, 33 bookmarks. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about like accusations of copying or anything. Okay, alright. I'm sus. Okay. Alright, hang on. Are these dates still in line? Let me see. I mean, they're chronological order. I'm trusting that, but. Okay, 510. So only the silver one exists. Isolation. One reality. But that's not all the drama with this post. Cinder tweeted the same thing a few days before, but there's also a hashtag Cindervale. You know, because it's cute art, and there wasn't malicious intent or weird gay feelings about it. Weird feelings behind it. Mama Vale retweeted the original post and untweeted it, and we were like, what happened? Now this is people make too much fuzz out of nothing too. Redact says, at a time we're working with Blank on Cinder's alerts and panel art. Redacted says, we knew Blank was friends with Silver. We asked her if there's a problem, and said Silver was really off-put by Cindervale and that she was gonna message Cinder. Silver messages Cinder asking her to take it down. She did so without any problem. Cinder was really broken up about it because she didn't want to get. Cinder's really broken up about it because she didn't want to get on the wrong foot with Silver, being one of the biggest VTubers at the time, and also because we redesigned her into Cinder. I've always pushed them to interact because the designs go so well together. So she took down the tweet and reposted the one I sent you. Silver and Mama Vale commented, and that was it. Silver never felt. Okay. Alright. I mentioned this last stream, but the hashtag Cindervale, put it on main. You're leveraging the public to go on your side. You may not realize, like, you may not intentionally be doing this, or maybe you are, but you have to necessarily think that there is going to be some form of public discussion about a collab. Even posting the fan art by itself, just like this, you could make the argument. If I made a fan art of myself hanging out with Silverveil, that could be seen as me leveraging the public for Silverveil to collab with me. That's bad. Don't do that. Okay? Model chapter, pretty mean from Silverside. Nanolist does not understand people. And it's understandable she doesn't understand people because she's an introverted artist. I get it. But Redacted doesn't understand people either. He should... Okay, alright. Blank, he got us with a... A few weeks later, goodbye, go see from model off. We got you training. You're already improving such a small time. You once in the debut, didn't look like Silver, sounded like Silver, acted like Silver, and the name is like Silver. People say these two look alike. Wait, hang on. Sinder posts a tweet. Boing boing. Okay, we made a meme. This is a really old joke between us. October 8th last year. It's not like the meme's going around to trend anything. A week later, on the 16th, Silverveil posts a tweet with the life of my one brain cell. Does the exact same thing. Silver. The life of my one brain cell. From Silverveil brain cell. Is it supposed to be at Silverveil? How do you do it? Hang on. Advanced search. Silverveil. Oh, you put parentheses, okay. Did I misspell brain cell? No, I didn't. If I do this, the life of my one brain cell. Smiley emoji. Okay, Google. The life of my one brain cell. X.com Silverveil. Let's see. I'm going through a lot of trouble to pull up this stupid Silverveil. Let's see, does it still exist? 1581708049030356995. Found it. Sinder Twitter. Okay, so what's the number for Sinder VT? 157881530891540888898. Okay. Let's check this out. Let's check this out, chat. Let's check this out. I'm getting TOS. I should have made sure that this was safe to play on stream, and it should be safe to play on stream, but I mean, it's been 3 hours, so alright, so what did Silver Veil's version look like? It's age restricted. Okay. Okay, I looked at it on my other browser, and they're kind of similar, I guess. Let's see. Do you ever look at someone and wonder what is going inside their head? Know your meme. This was October 2022. So let's see the trend deal of this. First trailer from Inside Out 2015. Using memes, spread. Here we go, interest over time. So it spiked in May of 2020. This is according to Know Your Meme. And then it went down in 2022, it looks like. This could be coincidental. Occam's Razor states that it is coincidental. No, the drama's not over. I'm sure people are still talking about it because it's still a 1,000-page document. This is for myself, though. This is mainly for myself. I'm just like trying to figure out like how I'm supposed to feel about this. I'm just you know, content is content. This isn't my normal stuff. I usually just play video games badly. But this right here, where it's like, oh, Silver Veil's copying her with memes or whatever, this could be coincidental. Let's see. I'm not the one copying her. Twitch content went to Silver's meet agreed. If he showed you, we'll go with our route, but we get Silver and our friends over our friends. But the big reason why I think no one's talking about it is because this is a 1,000-page document, so. I'm at this point where I'm 30 pages in to the Nanolist part, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4 sections, but yeah, there's so much going through. Actually got surprised and Silver went to gamer subs. Nothing here looks very important aside from hang on. Minecraft died in November. Okay. Now listen, I don't want you to think we're telling you not to work with her. She's a big customer. I don't like these. Okay. And there's a big problem with these screenshots right here. And the reason there's a problem with these screenshots is because Redacted, no matter how you look at it, is painting Sinder in a particular light. Or not Sinder, Silvervale in a particular light. And he's painting her negatively. Because Redacted is painting Silvervale as a negative light towards Nanolis, that is necessarily going to color Nanolis's perception of Silvervale. This is bad. Okay. Alright. So, like, we're not saying stop working with Silver, but, like, we'll always have plenty of work for you if we're willing to take it. We really appreciate everything you do with us, and Cinder really wants to get close to you. She's just learning to be more social. Red says, I'm using we're here, but Cinder had no idea this conversation was happening until I told her about it later. I was speaking for both of us without her knowledge or consent. You're her manager, you're speaking with her consent. Maybe not her knowledge, but you're speaking with her consent. Right, I didn't realize this message was cut off when the screenshots were taken. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, Cinder rated Silver like 3 or 4 times with fat raids of like 1,000 or 2,000 people. Okay. This makes you look petty. This makes you look petty, and this is bad. Alright, okay, alright. I want to highlight this, so I'm gonna crop this section out. Okay, alright. I don't watch Silvervale enough to confirm this myself, so I'm going to take their word for it. Let's see, by the way, about Silver's model, it's not her that came to visit with me. I wanted to have the... Okay, no worries, man, no. blank Cinder VTuber. That's wonderful. And you deserve it for being so cool and actually comfy. A truly good wolf. I'm sure that cosplay will be neat AF. Cinder VTuber. Twitter.com. Let me use my autism powers to see if I can find this tweet. At Sinder VTuber. At Sinder VTuber. Das wonderful. Brightens me up to see this. May 5th, 2023. This is literally a random tweet from a random nobody. Cinder cosplay coming soon. I don't understand the relevance of this tweet. I really don't. Okay. I don't know what the point of bringing this tweet up is, but this is just more fluff. Nano clarified to me that she is the one who went to Silver about a new model, and this is Red saying this. Nano clarified to me that she is the one who went to Silver about a new model. I was hoping I could actually go through this, but I don't have the mental fortitude right now. I've been at this for 3.5 hours. Hey Dom. Yeah, I've been at this for 3.5 hours, and this is really hard to get through. There's so much fluff, there's so much fat. A lot of this could be trimmed. 1,000 pages is way too much. A lot of these don't feel necessary. And not to mention, I've highlighted a few things. I posted it in the server, you've seen it. That are like, okay, these are people who don't understand how to talk to other people. And they still look bad. This is supposed to exonerate them, and they're making themselves look worse somehow. I don't know how they managed to do that. Okay. I'm actually probably going to end my stream very soon. I just want to see, like, find a good place to cut off, like, to bookmark. What was the red borders again? Okay, so it's like 30. I'm at like 38, page 38. Screenshots that include messages are highlighted in the red border. Yeah, I'll get into the VC after this, but okay. All right. I'm not sure I want to keep doing this document, at least on stream. But I've gone through. Let me see. So I'm on page 30. 36. Actually, yeah. Let's do say 36. Page 36 of the nanolist section. So let me see how many. Let me count how many pages I've gone through. So there's 4 pages. 6 pages. So 23 pages up to this point. Now Nanolist, that's an additional 35 pages. So that's 50. No, my. Okay. All right, let me send this to my manager and page 36 of Nanolist section Sinder Saga. Note, maybe do not continue this because let's bold this, not fucking worth it. Okay, alright. I'm going to be doing a normal Resident Evil 4 stream later tonight. It'll be in about 4 hours. I'm going to start at about 4 hours. It'll be 7 o'clock, 19 o'clock, or 7 p.m., 19 o'clock PST. It's going to be Resident Evil. I want to blow up Las Plagas and cultists and whatever stuff. This is bullshit. Oh my god.